Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, May 24th, 2015. Time once again for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 724.
This is No Agenda.
How high is the water, mama? I said a 6 feet high and rising, coming to you from the Crackpot Condo in FEMA Region 6 in Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, we're advised that you shake the handle on the toilet. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
It's interesting you mention that, because the term is jiggle the handle.
Yes, it is. I didn't come up with the right term.
And yesterday, before I left...
Did you tweet the bat signal, by the way?
No, I didn't. Let me do that right now. Yesterday, before I left, because I had a 7 p.m. flight, which is a whole nother story.
Oh, no, we want that story.
Yeah, you'll get that story. I went to see my old friend, David Ippolito, better known as That Guitar Man from Central Park, who had he was streaming live, but he did a show from, I think he started at noon and probably went until about 6 o'clock. And I was there for a couple hours. This is something, if you're ever in New York, and thatguitarman.com, if you have a chance to go see his show, which of course is free, it's in the park, it's definitely worth doing. But he had his whole setup. He had electricity, so he had his amps and everything out. But then his guitar kept cutting out, and there were problems. And he was trying to figure out, and someone actually yelled, "Jiggle the handle," which, as you know, when you're troubleshooting something, and someone says that, you just want to put your boot down their throat. It's the worst thing. All right. I've tweeted. We're good then.
Okay.
Yeah, so, all right. Leaving the Big Apple yesterday. Flying on Delta. And I did not get the crazy safety video.
Oh, maybe they've been listening.
Yeah. Hey, man, the guys don't like it. Let's not do that, man. But the Terminal 2, where Delta Domestic flies from, is under construction, and they're building all this kind of like an island of restaurants, and every single one. So there's sushi, which is no, we will not eat sushi. We know one of Dvorak's laws: never eat fish before traveling. Then there's some burger joint and some other places, but all of them have this new system. Then at each table, for each seat, there's an iPad, which is locked down onto the table. So, if you're sitting across from each other, there's an iPad in between both of you. And everything is done on the iPad. So you browse the menu, you select this, it's kind of like just an ordering system. And this is probably the most inefficient, stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's really customer unfriendly. So you order, and then their guarantee is you'll have your food within 20 minutes at your table. Then everything comes out of order. So I got French fries first. Gee, thanks. No ketchup. Then, it's like, how do I get ketchup? And I look around. Napkins. No, not there either. So I press the service button.
What's the name of this place?
It's Terminal 2. It's all the restaurants in Terminal 2, the Delta Terminal.
All of them have this?
All of them, yeah. So you only have people whose sole job it is to say, hey, French fries, and they just shove it at you and then walk away. French fries. And they actually have the gall upon checkout while you're ordering to suggest 18% gratuity for some dude who's just, French fries. So I press the service button. I'm looking around. 6 minutes, 7 minutes later, finally someone says, what do you want? Well, how about some ketchup and napkins? It's so unfriendly. It's so impersonal.
Oh, yeah, they don't deserve any tip.
But the gall to ask for a tip was, okay. But it's just, it's so wrong. I don't understand why people put up with this.
Well, you don't have to eat there.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I don't know why people put up with a lot of this stuff.
I need to find a way to complain.
Maybe you're starving to death. You have to put up with it because this is the best you can do.
Yeah. It's just the whole thing. And then the bathrooms. I'm a big fan of the Dyson blow dryers.
You don't like the paper?
No, I like that too. But this bathroom was outfitted with a new version of the Dyson hand dryer. Now, You've probably seen the one where you shove your hands down into kind of like a
I've seen
a little bin. But now they have where the sinks
I'd rather
are.
have paper towels for a simple reason. as someone who's a chemist, I mean, I like the idea of a sterile towel, paper towel.
Sterile? Sterile? Or
sterile.
Sterile.
Wipes.
Is it sterile or sterile?
Well, it's sterile, but I'm using sterile for a purpose in this sentence structure.
All right.
You got some water or whatever it is on your hands, and you wipe it off, and it goes into the paper towel. It absorbs it and goes into the garbage. If there's anything in these droplets of water, it gets taken away. But if you use the Dyson hand dryer, all it does is evaporate the water and leave the toxins on your hand in a concentrated form.
Oh. What toxin? But if you wash your hands with soap, aren't the toxins then taken care of?
Oh, now you got soap scum.
Soap scum. Yeah.
Kind of reduced to a goo.
I hate soap scum. Well,
I don't like this
What
idea.
they've done now they have this is very strange. So it's a design flaw. You have the sink, and then there's the mirror, which is, I can reach the mirror because I have long arms. But then in between two sinks, so you have to share with the sink next to you, there's kind of like a T-shaped Dyson blower, which you put your hands under, and it blows the soap scum off your hands onto this ledge by it's onto the mirror, onto the ledge. It's just like soap scum dripping all over the place. It's completely ludicrous. Who designed that? Who came up with this
sounds
great
like a
idea?
maniac.
It's very stupid.
Someone who hates people.
Yeah. I was looking at the weather. I've been warned by friends back home here in Austin that there was a tornado warning, and it's been raining now, for all the month of May. Then it's expected to continue throughout the month of May. So I was looking at the terminal area forecast of the TAFs and the METARs for Austin Bergstrom, and there was enough space within these fronts, which were blowing from the southwest northeasterly direction, for us to get in on time with the forecast for the terminal area forecast. They give you Zulu time. You can see exactly what the weather's going to be.
What's Zulu time?
Zulu time is equivalent to UTC, only equivalent to UTC. It's Zulu.
Why don't you say UTC then?
Because we say Zulu in aviation.
Who's we?
The aviators.
All right, go on.
We speak of Zulu time. It's to be different. So we're not like the Marine guys. We're aviators. And it was going to be 6-mile visibility, 10 knots, perfect. But we sit at the gate for 25 minutes, not able to push back, so we're late. Then, of course, we miss our slots.
You're in New York. Yeah. I'm surprised have you ever been on time leaving that crappy airport?
It's not. Yeah,
no,
but sometimes. But I knew that this was going to be a little complicated because of the Zulu time and the squalls coming through. So by the time we're and the captain, when the captain comes out before the flight, stands in the aisle on the intercom and says, "Hey, everybody, we're going to have a smooth flight for the first 2.5 hours."
I agree. When the captain comes out of the cockpit and makes an announcement, you've got problems.
Yeah, no, I looked at the guy. I'm like, I trust him. He seems okay. But, he's making decisions. I know he's thinking about things. So, about 45 minutes before we're ready to land, it gets pretty bumpy and very interesting to see. Well, the captain comes on. He says, "Well, because of our late departure," he knew this in advance, but he said, "Because of our late departure, the storm is right over the field now. So we're going to stay in a holding pattern for 15 minutes before we can land." Now, this, of course, turned into almost an hour because the storm was very slow moving, and there's trailers of course are being destroyed. I find out later there were some mini twisters seen here and there. Not the tornadoes that were perhaps predicted, but it was severe weather. And the first thing that struck me is people, they don't even, nothing registers with them when the severity of what they're so used to. Just whatever, everything's magical, the magical flying chair, it all happens automatically. And a bump or two, they don't care. But then when we had a couple of good jolts, and then people start those stupid sleighs like, what's happening? What's going? We land amidst just torrential downpour, but no, the wind had passed. And I had luckily I had Wi-Fi on board, so I've been able to do some prep. But I also was able to, Uber can no longer pick up at Bergstrom. There's a block on their systems because they don't want to pay the fee to the airport, so they cannot hang out anywhere near the airport to pick up to get the request. Their app literally will not show them as visible, and they can't receive any calls.
Okay.
So I called. So I texted Ligia. Remember Miss Nicaragua?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she was there to pick me up, and I'm glad because
an Uber.
Well, she's an Uber.
Oh, she's an Uber.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I'm all confused.
Yes, one of our Uber sources. Yeah.
I thought she was just another one of your girls down there.
John, listen. I'm trying to juggle 25 women. Would you stop saying these things? This is not okay. No, she's the Uber driver.
And you had her direct line, so you
yes.
could get her.
Yeah, well, I tried Levon first, but Levon wasn't available, so I just go down the list. I got a couple of names. And the play.
Did you ask them for their personal numbers or something early in advance?
Everyone gives them. Here's my card. You know the trick where you call and you get in the car.
Bypass the system.
Well, you don't bypass the system. You get in the car, then you request, and then then that driver will immediately accept. But you're already in the car instead of waiting.
Got it.
And the news I get back, and it's just, the people have parked boats on trailers in the parking lot right in front of the building. People who've taken their boats out of the Lake Travis or maybe Lake Austin and have parked them there because it's a mess here. People were on their houses with record flooding from the Blanco River, 40 feet, which is 7 feet more than the old record from 1929. It's a mess here.
Send the water to California.
Yeah. We're loving it. We needed water too. But it's kind of global warming.
So it was flood conditions?
Massive.
Huh.
Yeah. The Blanco River, and then there's the Pedernales River.
Up are you? Where are you? Can you be flooded? You're a skyscraper.
Yeah, well, I'll be okay. Skyscraper. Yeah, it's a real skyscraper. Oh, look, I can touch the clouds. I don't think we could get some. It could happen, but no.
What about the old
Unlikely.
house?
I don't.
Old houses.
The old house is on a hill. It would roll. It would roll past the old house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You always want to be on a hill. It seems to me.
That's always a good idea. But it's kind of unprecedented. This weather that they're having, and it's not letting up. It's just predicted to continue for at least another week, if not longer.
Well, the connection is good.
Shh! Don't jinx it. Let's see. And the only other news I got when coming back is that happy news.
How was TSA?
No pre-check, both on the way out and on the way back. And I even went up and said, hey, could you reissue the ticket and make sure my trusted traveler number is in there? I said, nah, they've said that they're going to cut back on it. I said, what? This is the whole point. Yeah, I know.
You pay good money for that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, it's just, we don't know. But we can't do anything. So a little opt out. I was early, so it didn't make that much difference. Just opt out. Made some friends.
Early or not early, it depends on the time of day. Sometimes it backs up, and sometimes they pull people off the line. And
I'm saying that I was early enough so that I didn't mind going through the opt out humiliation process of them making you wait while they determine who's going to pat me down.
Did anyone yell opt out?
Yes. Opt out, mail assist. Okay.
Did you yell douchebag check?
No, I should have tried that, and maybe I could have done the show from New York again. Wouldn't that have been fun?
Douchebag check.
Oh man, no, that's something you don't want to do.
Douchebag check. No, douchebag check.
The good news, though, the Texas Senate passed the open carry law, which our new governor, Abbott, has promised he would sign into law. There is one minor hitch, but it's just a small amendment being added. The amendment being that it will be forbidden for the police to question, without any other reason, anyone walking around with an open carry firearm just because they're walking around open carry, which would be even better. I cannot wait to go to Whole Foods. Hey, girls, how you doing? Hey.
Are you going to do it?
Of course, just once at least. Of course. But in the news, I found out that 45 states already have some form of open carry law. This I did not realize. I thought it was very specific.
I think I did know that, but nobody really takes advantage of it.
Well, I will. I can't wait. Just for the fun of it.
You going to wear a cowboy hat?
And boots. And maybe a bandana.
I like the bandana.
Well, while we're on constitutional topics, got a good email from producer Ryan in response to Bill Nye, the douchebag guy, the climate guy, his commencement speech at Rutgers.
Yeah.
About his quoting the Constitution about the obligation of the federal government to promote science and the arts. I'll play that little bit one more time here.
Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution stipulates that Congress shall promote the progress of science and the useful arts.
And I'm dismayed at myself that I didn't catch it and that I also did not go look it up, even though I think on the show we said, hey, we should look that up, one of those things. Producer Ryan says, this is total crap because Article 1, Section 8 states the following. To promote the progress of science and useful arts, comma, by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to respect writings and discoveries. This is the intellectual property clause.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the way he positioned it. And he's at Rutgers University, and where were all the law students or anyone going, hey, hold on a second, Bill Nye, hey, that's not exactly right.
Ooh, you came within just, I don't know, a beat, perhaps, of sounding exactly like Bill Clinton.
I don't know. Oh, I can't do it.
No, see, you can't.
I can't do it. Never mind.
You're going to have to go back and listen.
Yeah, okay. So I can do it as long as I'm not thinking about it.
It was there was just enough of the vocal fry in there, and the timing and pacing and the wording was perfect.
Oh, okay. I'll work on it. I will work on it. But anyway, I'm back here in FEMA Region 6. It's overcast. The rain has stopped momentarily, but it's just dreary.
I have a letter from someone while you're reading. I find you guys both informative and entertaining. He goes on. I don't know what. This is the wrong note. Never mind.
Excellent. Epic fail. All righty then. Very good. Well, I can upon my return.
Let's start with the Adult Video Awards.
Oh man, I could have gone.
They're in New York?
No, aren't they in Vegas?
Yeah, they were in Vegas.
Yeah, I could have gone to Vegas for the AVNs, as we call them in the business.
Probably fit right in.
The AVN. Yeah. Did you see that picture before you get to your clip? Do you see that picture that's been going around, a viral picture, and it shows left and right, a split screen. It shows women in evening gowns, beautiful evening gowns. Then it shows women in slutty, whorish gowns. And it says one of these is the Adult Video Awards. The other one is the Met.
Met Opera?
Yeah, the Met Opera. And the one that's the slutty clothes are the Met Opera. It's a great picture. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, put it in the show notes. I haven't seen it.
It's very funny.
I have just a quickie. There's a longer clip, but it's definitely for later in the show. But just play the Weird AVN. Wait, let me make sure I got the right one.
You have two clips here, so the Weird AVN.
Yeah, okay, not the World Peace one.
Oh, okay.
Weird AVN comments. I just thought this was unique because I'm watching this woman going around interviewing people, and she's kind of got her eyes are half rolled into the back of her head. She seems like a robot, and all these other women at these things. This show is is just obviously an MK Ultra showcase.
Now I'm really pissed I didn't go. I could have picked me up a presidential model.
Yeah, I don't know what the code is. What do you have to say to him? I know Clinton used to do something because
butterfly. You sing somewhere over the rainbow. You sing somewhere over the rainbow.
Yeah, sure. You didn't sound like they'd lock you up. Clinton used to go. I guess I got this from somebody who was not obviously didn't get triggered by it. But Clinton used to go, and she told me that she's seen him do this a couple of times. And he did it to her. She hated him. She's actually a pretty famous, good-looking agent. He goes up to her and he touches her shoulder and slowly rubs her and says, "This is really nice fabric."
Clip.
That could be a trigger. We don't know.
Oh, nice fabric. Okay.
Nice fabric.
All right.
Weird AVN comments by porn girls.
You always have to give shout-outs to the Illuminati. You're so straight. Or they'll get you. You're from Tampa Bay?
Yes.
Do you party in Ybor City?
I used to.
Yeah, never do that again. That place is terrible.
Fist bump.
Always give a shout-out to the Illuminati. That's great.
Or they'll get you.
We have another piece from the awards.
Straight from Reseda, here she is, Raven. Give it up.
There you go.
Nice fabric. We just triggered it.
We should just try it. I'm just going to try it everywhere. Hey, nice fabric. Maybe, try it on multiple people. Good one.
Ukraine update. Let's see where we're going.
Yeah, I have a lot on the F Russia front. I'll listen to your update.
And by the way, if anybody wants to have some fun, some amusement, I was going to put this in the newsletter, but I decided I'm going to put it off. I'll put it in maybe the next newsletter because I had a bunch of photos in there. But these photos, these before and after photos of the Donetsk airport.
Oh, yes, I've seen it.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
It was never it's actually kind of a pretty airport, small, like regional, but it's nicely architected, modern looking, and the interior is just beautiful. And now it's rubble.
Amnesty International has accused both sides of the conflict in eastern Ukraine of carrying out war crimes, including torture and summary killings of prisoners on a near-daily basis. Former prisoners held by both the Ukrainian government and pro-Russian rebels described abuses, including being beaten until their bones broke, tortured with electric shocks, and subjected to mock executions.
Oh, Abu Ghraib guys are there again?
It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. A lot of Ukrainian news, including BBC's interview with President Poroshenko, which I have pulled a couple clips from. But first, we know that John F. Kerry and Victoria Nudelman have both been to Moscow, have met with Vladimir Putin and other counterparts. Just a small clip here. Nuland was speaking in Russia. And, well, I think it's all in what she's saying.
I come after Sochi to make absolutely clear the U.S. commitment to the full implementation of the Minsk agreements and to make clear that we are eager to deepen our involvement in helping.
Hey, can you stop for a second and start it over?
Okay.
She has picked up that cadence I've been talking about, which I gave examples of before.
Yes.
Which is Susan Rice.
Yes.
That stupid sounding cadence where you sound like a moron.
Do we have that clip?
I have a Susan Rice, and there's another one. That other woman that was in the same White House. She has the same cadence. She was. I can't remember. I'm going to have to. I don't know if I can dig it up.
Well, let me see what I have. I have cadence speech with Tony Blinken. I don't know if that's the one that you were talking about.
No, it's a woman. It's all the women that sound like this.
Hillary cadence.
No, it wouldn't be Hillary.
Oh, then you didn't name it cadence.
Damn it.
Yes. Damn it, Jim. Why didn't you name it right? Let me see what I have here. Rice on ABC. Rice. Twerps on climate change. maybe just Susan Rice. Let me see what this is. We'll just give it a shot, see if it's anything.
He served the United States with honor and distinction, and we'll have the opportunity eventually to learn what has transpired in the past years. But what's most important now is his health and well-being, that he have the opportunity to recover in peace and security and be...
I don't think it's that apparent in that particular clip.
No, she's talking too fast. But it's the way they end the sentences, peace and prosperity. I can't even make a mockery of it, but it's so distinctive in that White House. These women, they all start to talk like this.
I come after Sochi to make absolutely clear the U.S. commitment to the full implementation of the Minsk agreements. And to make clear that we are eager to deepen our involvement in helping the parties achieve full implementation.
Implementation? I would like some red beans and rice.
It's a funny kind of uptalk.
It is.
It is. But it's very distinctive, and I think I don't know. Maybe it comes from Obama because he talks a little bit like that.
Oh yeah, I have a clip later we can listen and see if it's there. But what she's saying though, is kind of important.
We care more about how she says.
Let's listen to the words one more time.
I come after Sochi to make absolutely clear the U.S. commitment to the full implementation of the Minsk agreements, and to make clear that we are eager to deepen our involvement in helping the parties achieve full implementation.
So here's what's interesting. The United States is not a signatory to the Minsk agreement, and we're going to be involved, and I don't know, this sounds a little nefarious, what she's saying. And
who's she talking to?
She's talking to the Russian press. Yeah.
Why?
Well, there are things afoot, and I believe that Ukrainian President Poroshenko gives it away. 3 clips here. The first one, and this was an interview with BBC. He is convinced, beyond a shadow of the doubt, that Russia is going to attack. And, of course, this would be eastern Ukraine.
Do you think another offensive is coming from
I'm not fear anything.
But you believe that they're preparing an offensive?
I believe that they're prepared for the offensive. And I think that we should be ready for that.
Ready.
And I think that... but we do not give them any tiny chance for provocation. That would be totally their responsibility.
So he's saying, if Russia attacks, which he says they're going to, it would be all on them.
We will
Please don't pay any attention to the United States military there in eastern Ukraine.
Keep all the Minsk obligation, including the ceasefire, including withdrawal the heavy artillery and weapons.
So are you going to get the support you want from the EU, from Britain, to fight that, the military support?
Ukraine is a very well-developed country who produce their own lethal weapons.
Is this true? I didn't know that Ukraine had their own lethal weapons. They produce military stuff?
Yeah, actually, they're subcontractors for a lot of Russian
Oh, that's
companies.
right. You're right. That's even crazier, that they're subcontracted to do Russian weaponry.
And
which I think is part of the reason we're screwing with them.
But at the same time, Russia's supply to their troops and to their supported or their back terrorist troops, state-of-art, most modern, lethal weapons.
So you want that kind of technology from the West, do you?
We are ready
he's just not going to answer the question.
To produce it by ourselves, but we want to have this level of cooperation, not only to defend our country now, but to build up a very pro-European army here on the East, to defend not only our sovereignty, not only our territorial integrity or our independence, to defend the freedom, to defend democracy, to defend European values, because we're fighting now for that.
Yeah, he's fighting now for Europe, apparently, or maybe he should just say NATO. And I appreciate that he speaks English. I think that's nice. Now we move on to the conversation of Putin himself, if he trusts President Putin and what he believes is really going to happen.
Do you trust Vladimir Putin?
Trust?
Do you trust him?
Trust? No.
No. No.
I doubt that.
How do you negotiate with someone you don't trust?
I don't have any option what to do. I don't think that the results or releasing of my territory would be happen by military means.
You're not going to get it back militarily.
No.
You've given.
I'm a president of peace. Not at all.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Do everything to keep the peace. Can I be absolutely clear with you? This is not a fighting with Russian-backed separatists. This is a real war with Russia.
A real war with Russia. A real war with Russia. Now, before I play his final clip, where I believe he says something that is not part of the question, is not provoked, and I believe it's a giveaway. It's clear that the Ukrainian putsch that Nudelman and Kagan and all of the rubbleizers put in place has failed. Russia's economy is, they figured out how to survive. They're not dying. They've just diverted their gas. Everything going through Ukraine was going to go through the South Stream. South Stream was blocked by making it difficult for countries such as Hungary to accept the South Stream pipeline.
I think in some ways the Russians had a nice balance on their books were balanced. They had good numbers. If you listen to any of the business reports about what was going on, it wasn't like they were teetering on anything.
Right.
And I think that this whole scheme hurt Europeans more than it did Russians.
Absolutely.
In many ways. A lot of the farmers that rely on Russia imports.
All blocked. Tomatoes, apples, all blocked.
Screwed with a bunch of products they can't sell, and it's seasonal. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was a botch.
Which is also, the putsch was a botch. The putsch botch. And we know that the European Union, the EU, is subsidizing farmers now that they can't. So not just the farmers, but it's EU money that's being used for that. So the gas is not an issue now that they're going to start up the Turkish stream and they'll pipe it in through there. That's even more of a problem. There's no control over Turkey from the NATO or U.S. side. And I think that Ukraine is in play and that this is the real reason Kerry and Nuland, a.k.a. Nudelman, were there. And listen to what Poroshenko says about what he thinks is not happening, even though this did not come up in the interview at all. It's his own admission.
But if you ask me if I trust President Obama, if I trust Vice President Biden, or if I trust Secretary Kerry, my answer would be yes. I trust him. And immediately before Secretary Kerry go to Moscow, he called me from his plane and explained me every tiny details they would speak in Moscow about Ukraine. So I trust, and I don't think any suspicious that Ukraine would be traded on the relationship between Russia and the United States.
Okay. That was not there was no question about Ukraine being traded, but that's his fear, clearly. And that's a giveaway. And I think it is being traded.
Well, I think this is an outstanding analysis. This clip is fantastic because you're exactly right. This had to be on his mind, or he wouldn't have said it.
And to say
in front of his mind, by the way, it was
yes. And to say, I trust Kerry called me from the plane and told me to the exact detail what he was going to talk about. Oh, hello, Earth to Poroshenko.
Idiot.
How stupid are you? Yeah, I trust it. It's all good, man. I trust
They're
it.
They're not going to trade. No, they're not going to stab us in the back.
No.
That won't happen.
Not at all. So let's just presume that they're going to stab them in the back and Ukraine will be up for grabs. Russia now saying, hey, you got to make good on that, the 3 billion. Is it euro or dollars? Let me see. I think it's 3 billion.
I think it's euros.
Yeah. You got to make good on the payment of the bonds in 2016 or we're going to come and get it. And that could be the tipping point. But it's just no longer important. I think we'll see a complete... Eastern Ukraine, there's obviously a lot is going to happen there for this front that will be built up, but Ukraine will be thrown to the wolves. These people, these Atlanticists, these rubbleizers, they don't care.
They already have it in play that this guy is corrupt.
Yes, that's for the regime change, which is more and more news about that he has to get out.
They seem to have slipped that into the news stream that the guy's corrupt, or there's elements of corruption that you can't get rid of, or he is corrupt. And that's been kind of put into the consciousness
We've been tracking.
to be executed in the future.
And there was I didn't clip it because I thought this was more important, but there was a question. He had promised to divest of all of his assets, his big company, etc. And his answer to that was, "There's no buyers. There's a war here. No one wants to buy my company." Oh, okay,
that's actually a reasonable point.
Fair enough. But the anti-Russian sentiment continues, including this report.
Tensions are growing between Finland and Russia. In the latest sign that things are heating up, Finland's checked in with its military reservists, telling them what their roles would be if a skirmish breaks out. Russia's been holding military exercises in the Baltic Sea near the shores of Finland over the last year. Neither country is a member of the NATO military alliance, which could make Finland more vulnerable to a Russian incursion. Last month, defense ministers from throughout Northern Europe warned the region should be prepared. The bottom line, there have been no clashes yet, but relations are definitely icy.
Icy.
Another thing, bull crap.
Of course it is. Another thing about being in New York, there's this little place around from the Airbnb where I was staying, and a breakfast place with service, and there were 2 Polish girls and 1 Russian girl, and I always like to talk to
who are you not to flirt?
Exactly. Hey, where are you from? And when she said Russia, Russia, and her head bowed down like Russia, like she was ashamed.
She was
ashamed of it. It was sad. Like
half of Brooklyn's from Russia.
Yeah, but the way I'm from Russia. Her head goes down.
She's obviously subject to the same propaganda as everybody else here.
Of course. But I think that
bad Russian, bad girl.
She probably
bad girl.
Oh yeah, next time I'll try that. Hey, where are you from? Russia. You bad girl. You need a spanking. I think I'll try that.
You should.
You bad girl. I think you need a spanking. I can say it with a straight face.
Oh, yeah.
Not a problem. Now, I returned to an email from Uncle Don. And I haven't heard from Don for a couple of months now. And it turns out he was in Seoul. Now, Don is 87, so you just got to love the guy, what he's doing. And his book has been translated into Korean, his Potsherds book, and he was there speaking for a rather large delegation. And this was about the possible reunification. Of course, the real people who were supposed to be there, the both sides of the discussion in Korea, they weren't there. They did bring in ex-German Foreign Minister Ruhe, who I believe oversaw the reunification of Germany, which is completely different. But for some reason, I guess they felt that was the right guy to have. And he sent me a couple of links, including an interview on Korean television. So I pulled a couple of clips, and Don is great. He's a soul voice in the wilderness, in the darkness, saying something different than the narrative of crazy Kim Jong-un. Crazy, he's killing his uncle. He's feeding it to the dogs. So this interview, this comes up. This is the first question. Don speaks Korean. He understands Korean, but he was taking the questions from the Korean interviewer, and he was answering in English, thank God. So the first question is about the crazy killings, which if you ask any politician in the United States, well, screw politician, New York Times. Yeah, he shot him up with an anti-aircraft gun, and then the other guy, he fed him to the dogs. Don has a different view.
발표가 있었습니다. 믿을만하다고 보십니까?
When I hear such a report, I immediately ask myself, what would Kim Jong-un gain by doing such a thing? Why would he do such a thing? So my assumption is that what we are seeing is his attempt to consolidate his rule. But I still find it very hard to believe that he would execute this man in the way that there are rumors indicating that he did so. I see nothing that would gain him. I think it would be very humiliating for the people he's trying to work to coordinate. So I just find it very difficult to believe that he would do such a thing for his own sake.
Okay. You don't hear many people say that on CNN. Ever.
We say it all the time.
Yes. And as a reminder for newbies to the show, my Uncle Donald P. Gregg, you can look him up, was ambassador to South Korea, was also a national security advisor to Bush Sr., hates George W., and became a Democrat and voted for Obama twice, which he's also not happy with. Moreover, as witnessed in this clip, now, I had forgotten about this. I'm sure we talked about it. Do you remember the crazy report from, I think it was 2010 or 11, that the North Koreans, with a miniature sub, had shot a torpedo at a South Korean merchant ship?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I have the name of the ship here somewhere. It was the, had a wacky name. The Cheonan. The Cheonan.
Yeah.
And so he's asked about this, and in Korea, in politeness and respect and how you talk about things, and certainly you don't say, "Oh, I'm not going to answer that question." So this comes up, and this is the lead into. This is Don being Korean polite about this question and about what he wrote an op-ed in the New York Times around that time saying, "Hey, this sounds like bull crap."
지금도 당시 정부 발표를 믿기 어렵다고 보십니까?
I just reread today the op-ed in the International New York Times that I wrote in September 2010, raising my questions about the sinking. And that, as you said, had an immediate impact. And to use it,
he's talking the article had an impact, not just the sinking of the ship.
Impact. And to use an American phrase, it sort of made me the skunk at the garden party. In other words, the animal that nobody wanted to see join the group. And that was particularly true with the MB-Lease people. And I think it's still true, because the questions that have concerned me and concerned the Russians also have not been dealt with. I don't go around repeating this because it's like a red flag to a bull. But since you have asked me, and I respect you very much, I will tell you that it is still a question that needs to be looked at again, and unanswered questions need to be dealt with.
And he was referring to the Republican Party, he being the skunk at the garden party. Which means we have a term. I think we can use Republic skunk as a new term for people who are trying to make good inside the GOP. And he has his own theory about this so-called miniature sub from North Korea torpedoing this South Korean ship.
The fact that there was a fishing net wrapped around the axle.
I think he means the drive shaft of the propeller.
The fact that there were dents in the hull, indicating that the ship may have run aground. The fact that there are many mines lying in that area, which has been heavily mined for years. And the fact that the pattern of the explosion, according to the Russian view, is much more akin to a mine than a torpedo. And beyond that, for the Cheonan to have been sunk by the North Koreans in the midst of a naval exercise involving the United States fleet and the South Korean fleet. So I think that it's very difficult to believe that the North Koreans have the ability to bring about such a sinking under those circumstances.
When he says all those things about, how ludicrous it is to be doing this during a naval exercise, Don has this way of speaking. You can't obviously detect it, but he has a way of speaking, and he's really smiling when he says it, kind of like, this is such bullshit. He's very good at that. And now we get down to the true reason, of course, for the Cheonan sinking. That's, I think it may be mentioned in this clip, but first, let me get this one. Here it is. I'll do this one first. This is, we'll come back to that. Only two more. The question is, hey, if Obama was so good at restoring relations with Cuba, why can't he do the same with North Korea? Now, you and I, John, we know the answer, of course. It's to sell crap to the South Koreans, and you always have to have a boogeyman, and nothing better than miniature subs and crazy leaders who feed their officers to the dogs. And Don says this is absolutely impossible, will not happen under Obama, and for the following reasons.
그러면 다음 차례가 북한이 될 수 있다고 보십니까? 오바마의 임기 내에?
I do not believe that President Obama can afford to really make a major move toward North Korea at this time. There is no political support for such a move. He has extended his reach by reaching out to Cuba with the aid of the Pope, who played a tremendous role in setting up the meetings between the United States and the Castros, and remembers that we overthrew their government in 1951. We never mention it, but they remember it. But it is very important that we have some kind of a relationship with Iran, but it's loaded with problems, including the problem of Israel. And so for him to suddenly reach out to North Korea, I think is very doubtful, because there's no audience who would applaud.
Hands clapping, thumbs up.
And then finally, Don uses my favorite word and explains why this is all taking place. As we know, OPCON, the handover of operations of the military systems, the handover was supposed to happen the beginning of this year. That was delayed indefinitely, as far as we know. And now we're going to find out exactly what it is.
I think the THAAD issue is in its preliminary stage. Korea is caught, in a way, by debates within the military-industrial complex, which you really have, it's not your fault except for geography. But geography has worked against you in the past. And that's why I feel that there's an opportunity for the Koreas to come together and make yourselves the tremendously significant body that you would be, which would free you from a lot of these kinds of pushes and pulls which come as China thinks, do we want reunification on the Korean Peninsula? I don't think they do. I think they're perfectly happy with a divided country as long as it's stable. Do the Japanese really want reunification on the Korean Peninsula? Who knows what Mr. Abe thinks? So I think there's an opportunity for the Koreans to take their history and their destiny in their hands.
Yeah, good luck with that. But
yeah,
that won't happen. But
we don't want it either.
What was interesting, he mentioned at the beginning.
Make any money.
He mentioned at the beginning is THAAD. That is the device that this is all about. THAAD, THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, also known as Theater High Altitude Area Defense. This is the anti-ballistic missile system. I guess it's a version of Iron Dome, perhaps, that is being put in place. The Chinese and the Russians are very angry about it. They feel that this is just to spy on them, which, let's be honest, of course it is. And that's what this is about. And this is a Lockheed Martin contract that they've had this. The contract has been ongoing since '87, re-upped in 90, 92. And let me see, do we have any other deployment dates here? Yeah, so they started deploying this in 2012. So THAAD is what it's all about. It's just a big sale for the military-industrial complex. And sorry, Korea.
Nice.
Yeah, so I thought that was a nice little bit from Don. And
since we're talking about spies, the public broadcasting system has this really great show called Frontline, which is probably the closest thing we have to investigative reporting.
Oh, I'm glad you got clips from this. This is the CIA report?
They did this thing on the CIA report that Feinstein's group came out with, where you could also, where the lines were drawn. So as we saw that report released, we could see who was working, who was on the CIA or whatever intelligence agency.
And her head is gone.
Mm-hmm.
There was, Richard Engel was, they shouldn't release this, not good. And you have these both sides going back and forth, but the best part of this report, this show has to be watched by everybody, and you should probably just find it and download it.
I'll put it in the show notes.
At the end of the thing, there were some revelations that I just thought were disgusting, and there's questions that need to be asked. What happened during this whole episode, and it probably would have, this report never would have been released in the first place if Feinstein didn't feel that the agency was spying on her. And her people.
Do we need to do a quick recap of what happened?
If you want,
could you?
Well, there was in fact. Here's what this as you watch this special, I think what we thought happened isn't quite exactly what happened, and I think it's explained better in this presentation, and people should watch that. But they were doing a minor investigation on the tortures of the CIA, because the CIA kept saying, "Yeah, it was really great, the torture. We got all kinds of good information." And then, of course, they came out with that movie Zero Dark 30, which showed that we got Osama from the torture because we tortured somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Torture works. Torture led to
torture works was the thing. The Feinstein Committee was doing some minor work examining the torture issue, and the CIA apparently sent over, and I believe this was done probably by a patriot within the CIA. If you start looking at it from a meta perspective, they sent over, because once they started looking into this, apparently Panetta, who was the head of the CIA, decided to do his own report.
Yeah.
And so they did a bunch of research, and somebody sent the Panetta report in with a batch of the requested documents to the Senate committee, headed by Feinstein. I think that either the CIA got wind of this, they found out about it, and they sent some spies to go recapture as much stuff as they could that shouldn't have been sent over in the first place. Feinstein found out about this, that they were spying on, because they had a sealed room and all this, and you couldn't get the documents in or out. And she was found this scandalous. They grabbed the Panetta report out of this office and buried it in the Senate vault with an armed guard. Now the story continues, and the Panetta report confirmed most of what the Feinstein report concluded, and they pointed this out. But the Panetta report's never been released; it was always considered classified, and only the committee could look at it. So there's a number of things that come out in these particular two clips, and I want to preface it by a chunk of the clip. The clip is called CIA Frontline, but I'm going to take a chunk of this clip out because it screws up the pace. Okay. And this is a piece, and I have it separate here. I'm going to play it first. This was in this other clip. I just seamlessly removed it because I thought it didn't. If you just listen to the audio and you don't know you don't have the lower third, you don't know what's going on. Okay. And this is John Laughlin, who is I think the associate or the acting director, or just under director, whatever the title was. But he's a CIA guy, and he was this designated apologist for this whole discussion that you're going to hear. But first, let's listen to him apologize.
My sense in looking at the report is that they started with their conclusions and looked through 6 million pages of documents, an unprecedented number, looking for fragments of chats and emails, taking them out of context and stacking them up to prove the points they wanted to make all along.
Okay, assembly.
All right, so we got rid of that. So I wanted to play that so somebody doesn't listen to this clip. Say, hey, you left out so and so.
Okay,
there he
gotcha,
is.
Gotcha.
That's him. Now let's listen to this and pay careful attention to the discussion of the Republican Party. And go.
It was locked in this room. Only members of the Intelligence Committee could read it. But only Democrats did, including Mark Udall.
Panetta Review is a comprehensive and thorough set of documents. It should be declassified. It confirms what the committee staff and the committee study determined.
The senators say the Panetta Review's conclusions would be echoed in the final Senate report. The program was brutal, mismanaged, and it didn't work.
Enhanced interrogation techniques was not an effective means of acquiring intelligence.
We looked at 20 examples of where the administration was saying these techniques were effective, and we found that wasn't true at all.
CIA representations were inaccurate and unsupported by CIA records.
With this torture report out
at the CIA, they dismissed the Panetta Review as nothing more than an internal draft. And they harshly criticized the Senate report, insisting the EITs saved lives. Obama's new CIA director, John Brennan, refused to release the Panetta Review and worked to keep most of the 6,000-page Senate report classified.
I just need to say, the production of this thing is outstanding. With the and the little and then it's outstanding.
No, it is a fantastic product.
Piece of work.
To keep most of the 6,000-page Senate report classified.
There's no question that there is a lot more information in those 6,000 pages that have yet to see the light of day.
What was released was just a summary, some 450 pages. The real report has not been declassified, and the real report is chapter and verse of what happened.
For now, there's little Feinstein can do to get the full report declassified.
It's just in. The Republicans have, in fact, gained control of the U.S. Senate.
In the fall of 2014, the Congress changed hands.
Got thrown out. This was the slap.
Republicans were now in charge.
Senate majority since
Colorado Senator Mark Udall was defeated.
The incoming chairman of the Intelligence Committee.
Dianne Feinstein was replaced as the chairman of the Intelligence Committee by Republican Richard Burr.
Senator Richard Burr, he is the Republican chairman.
Burr has recalled all copies of the 6,000-page classified report.
I think there's going to be a whole new day of oversight. It's going to be.
He refused to read the Panetta Review.
He voted against it, and so
and promises to return it to the CIA.
The chair has asked the Obama administration to return all copies of the Senate.
The fight right now is for history. There's no more investigations that are going to happen. There's no more legal consequences that we know of at this point, and there's no policy debate. Why did it happen? Was it the right thing? Was it the wrong thing? And how should we look at it in generations to come?
Oh, Republicans, of course.
I find it unbelievable.
It's great. PBS.
That the Republicans wouldn't even look at the Panetta report, even though they had it right in front of their faces to read it if they wanted to, because apparently, now that you have to remember that the Senate Select Committee, they're supposed to be the oversight committee. They're one of the committees, along with the House, that tells the CIA what to do. The CIA does not tell them what to do.
Yeah, it's
but
the
apparently,
balance,
the Republicans on the committee are told what to do. And I'm going to mention that amongst this group, and I'll tell you who they are at the time in the 113th Congress, it was Saxby Chambliss from Georgia. These are the Republicans. Richard Burr, who now runs the thing. James Risch from Idaho, Daniel Coates from Indiana, Susan Collins of Maine, and Tom Coburn, along with, and somebody's got to bring this up with him one of these, Marco Rubio, who's a total douchebag, and he should be, if somebody has to ask him, say, you had this to read. Why didn't you read it? He's going to say, well, it was in the best interest of the country not to read it. So you're telling me actually is that that you were told not to read it, so you didn't read it. So if you're going to be president, people are going to tell you what to do. You're not going to tell them what to do. Is that the way you're going to do business? I don't understand why this guy's even running for president.
Oh, it's a great country. And
fantastic.
I keep reading that Rubio may be a favorite.
The guy's a loser.
I'm just saying that's what I'm reading.
I think this is perfect evidence of it.
Yeah.
This guy should not be supported in any way if this is the way he's going to act.
Do you think he really did not read it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because they had a guard that checked people in and out that went in to read it.
So we know.
So there was a list. If there was one guy that went in to read it, they would have been on the list, unless he would somehow got in secretly, which doesn't seem likely.
I would say that's...
And that report's never going to get into the public domain, pretty much like the 28 pages of redacted material from the 9/11 report. Where is that?
9/11
why aren't we reading
report.
that?
Yeah. 28pages.org. We'll tell you why not. And that should have been... Why doesn't WikiLeaks have that by now?
I would think they would.
Yeah.
But in fact, WikiLeaks should have both the Panetta report and the 28 pages by now.
Unless maybe they're too close to the CIA.
Guys,
huh?
It's over. They can't do it anymore.
No. Well, with that, good work. Let me thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, John C., where the C stands for CIA Patriot, Dvorak.
And in the morning to you, Adam Curry. Also in the morning to all the ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to everybody in the chat room, noagendastream.com. Nice to see you talking about our show again. They got off on tangents over there.
What are they talking about?
Never mind. Another podcast.
What?
Twit.
Why?
I don't know.
What is the Twit? The Twit's got a chat room. Go over and get into their chat room.
Hail Apple. And thank you.
Hail Apple.
In the morning to Nick the Rat, back with the artwork for episode 723. Good artwork with the Weekend at Bernie's Osama bin Laden. Very funny. The international audience may not have gotten the gag, but we liked it a lot. And you can see all of the submissions from our artists. And I got another inquiry about a gallery wanting to display the No Agenda artwork. So I'm working on it. That would be very cool if we had that. You can see that at noagendaartgenerator.com. And thank you very much. We appreciate it. It is a big part of our success, what these artists do. Big part.
No, a big part of today's success is Bradley Charles out of Hali'i Ma'ili, Hawaii. You know, there's a guy, it reminds me of a joke. Guy goes up to another guy, says, hey, Bill, yeah? How do you pronounce it? Is it a Hawaii or Hawaii? And Bill says, it's Hawaii. He says, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So thanks. And the guy says, you're welcome.
Okay.
In the morning.
These are our executive producers and associate executive producers. These credits are given at the beginning of the program, very similar to what Hollywood does. As executive producers are supporting us with financial means, which keep the show going, enable us to pay our bills and do this program and do this type of analysis and watch all these things and do the research. And we want to thank the following people, starting with Bradley Charles from Hawaii.
He came in with $1,623.93.
Wow.
Saying this is your 10% VIG on a stock sale. Yeah, so he made like, I guess, 16 grand on this stock sale.
Hail Apple.
Hail Apple. While you do not recommend stocks, you do provide valuable info for those with ears to hear. When you told me of the HMS looking to purchase God knows how much at Homeland Security, how much ammunition, I looked into who won the bid. And in March 2012, I purchased the paltry 190 shares from the unsaid company and held it until recently. This is my first contribution toward your valiant efforts and endless hours of entertainment. But because I've been listening since I heard Adam on the Corolla show, no de-douching is in order yet.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Perhaps when I reach double knight status.
Baronet.
2 to the head is more appropriate, all things being equal and easier. My mind meat has become very dense as of late. 22 calibers just bounce off, and anything up to about 9 millimeters tend to absorb.
He's made of Kevlar.
15 pounds of modeling clay. You see, at a tender age, I reached my lifetime quota for drugs and alcohol the very first time I tried it.
Very good.
Unfortunately, I didn't notice right away.
Hey, do we have great producers or what?
Well, I'm not so tender anymore, and that was 46 years ago. I've been up out of the pit for some years now. I make this donation in hopes of finally getting with the program and breaking the log jam of soul-crushing apathy, indecision, and depression that I have known for so long. Kind of like the first scratch on a new car. Get it over with, and then perhaps I can relax, except for the Tourette's, of course.
Oh, is he a fellow sufferer?
It sounds like it.
Okay.
In closing, it's time for me to stop being so jacked off on a stump somewhere and quit being such a jingle ass. You deserve much better.
Wow, thank you very much. And we will be crowning Bradley as Sir Charles today, then, I presume.
And then you can give him a...
Karma. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
You've got karma.
I'll see you on the roundtable stump later on in the program.
Shane Kirk in Middletown, New York, came in with $724. He'll also be an executive producer for show 724. I've been listening to the show for a few years now, he writes. Hooked ever since I first heard John thank the subs under the water. My donation of $724 is and is a 724 club member, I might add.
Oh, yes.
To complete my knighthood and serve as a shout-out for any slaves, past, present, and future, serving aboard the USS Louisville.
Yay.
I'm truly thankful for the value in media deconstruction that No Agenda provides, not to mention that the karma is real. For any boners listening, NA karma is as real as it gets.
It's real! It's real! It's real!
The highest token of moral self-licensing available on all of the interwebs. Donate now and be cleansed. He writes, I'm humbly requesting some moving and new job karma as I'm relocating from New York to North Carolina, working as a DevOps named Ben. Thank you for your courage. Please play any jingle you see fit to motivate any listeners listening to help the cause. I also request raspberry pies and breakfast burritos to be present at the round table.
I'm going to put it in.
Everyone's crazy about a dude named Ben.
You've got karma.
Raspberry pies and breakfast burritos now being added to the round table. Nice.
Craig Hicks from Doncaster East, Victoria, Australia. $500. A longtime listener and not donating. I feel it's time I got off my ass and donated.
Yes.
I hope this helps in the long struggle against the forces of evil in the mainstream media. With the new low donation levels, I thought it was time to step up to the plate and donate.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Karma for you.
You've got karma.
Christopher Dolan in Brookline, Massachusetts. That's 33324. Thank you for the best podcast in the universe. Short.
The best podcast in
Sorry.
the universe.
Short and sweet is what you were going to say?
Short and sweet.
Thank you.
Nice. Thanks, Christopher. Joseph Gilbert in Duncanville, Texas. 300. Just wanted to say, I heard what you said about making a difference. Wanted to let you guys know I've been the senior research consultant for a local Dallas group that comes together to inform and educate fellow citizens on local politics. We have a nonpartisan event on the 2nd of June that I'd love to see fellow NA producers come and be part of. We'll be talking about Dallas runoff election that will decide the future of over 1.2 million people, even though only 6% of those people voted in the primaries. Last few years has been standing room only. You can go to Dallas Bar Politics, Dallas Bar, DALASBAR Politics.com for your free tickets. By the way, thanks to No Agenda for informing me all these years and giving me the motivation to become involved.
This is exactly what we talked about on the last show. This is the kind of work that you can do.
Yes.
You can really change things. And for some odd reason.
Have fun.
Yes. And win valuable prizes. For some odd reason, people have takeaways from our show that wind up in political discourse. Very nice.
Okay, here we go. Lucas Tayema.
Tayema. Lucas Tayema. And he lives in
$222.
And he lives in
Ugsgisht.
Perfect. Don't change a thing.
Just noticed that I made a mistake setting up the $15 USD monthly recurring donation. Here's some compensation plus fines.
How about interest? And where's our 18% tip?
Better spent on No Agenda than on negative rents on the bank account. So don't mention the remark below. Now he's doing some bookkeeping.
Right.
All right.
But he did want. That's interesting. He wanted "And Her Head Is Gone."
Yes, play off the head. Yeah, play him off with the "Head Is Gone" jingle.
And we'll give a little karma.
Plus
and something else? Yeah, just karma. You got it.
And her head is gone. You've got karma.
Miss Feinstein. Thank you.
And finally, last but not least, on show 724, Tim Anonymous came in again from Parts Unknown for this $200 donation.
That would be
no comment.
Sir Tim Anonymous, I believe.
Sir Tim Anonymous, exactly.
I believe so.
Sir Tim Anonymous. No comments. And there he is.
Very nice.
Where he's from.
Very, very nice. Thank you so much to these executive producers and associate executive producers. If you want to find out more about that, you can go to Dvorak.org/NA. Help us continue to produce the show, which is helping politics, changing your society. I mean, my mom would be so proud. You doing a what? A podcast?
You're a good boy, Adam.
A podcast?
You're a good podcaster, Adam.
Received a note from Stephen Bussinger. Adam, traveling to Holland and Germany this summer. I was hoping you could put me in contact with some producers there. It's my first time outside the U.S. I'll be landing at Schiphol Wednesday, May 27th. I will send him the No Agenda Wi-Fi. I started in Amsterdam, but I'd like to check out Rotterdam, The Hague, Haarlem. In Germany, the list of cities I'm visiting is Trier, Frankfurt, Cologne, Stuttgart, Heidelberg, Munich. There's no hard itinerary other than my flight leaving Munich July 15th. I'd love a place to stay, but any kind of guidance or company will be valued. A wingman would be kick-ass, and he said, please publish my email address, which I have in the show notes under the PR heading, and see if we can set up some meetups. And I'm thinking of going to Europe in July as well. I need to get out of Texas in July. That's not a good place, not a happy place to be. So we'll see if maybe we can coordinate some stuff. One other mention, we should have known. I'm disappointed both you and I forgot. But No Agenda, the No Agenda show is, as far as I know, the only podcast that has not one but two racing teams. And Sir Andrew Gardner, of the original No Agenda Racing, this is motorcycle racing. He is racing this weekend at Summit Point, West Virginia. And he wanted some racing karma, so we'll hand that to him right now.
You've got karma.
And thank you once again. We'll be thanking our other donors later on in the program.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Of course, there's always something you can do, and that is very simple. Go out there, propagate the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Citizen.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave. No service for you.
Oliver Reich wrote in to mention that to remind us that the TSA agents are not peace officers. They don't carry guns.
That was the yes.
I made that mistake in the last show.
However, he said they have cookie cutter badges. That's incorrect. They now do you remember when they got real badges and they were crying?
Yeah.
Oh, we have real badges now.
People are just. If you watch the AVN Awards, they cry like babies because they win the award for best biggest mouth or deepest throat.
Yeah. No.
I wanted this award so badly.
Those are not the categories. Did you watch? Did you actually watch it?
I only watched the interviews.
Because the categories are best DP. Best gangbang. There's all kinds of categories.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, well, okay. Of course,
but people like getting, to get their badge. They have a ceremony. It's a big deal. I mean, we have nights. We do the same thing.
True. And it's very fitting that we follow the Adult Video Awards and ignore the Eurovision Song Contest. Very good. Very good. But I think we should only be predicting the winners of the Adult Video Awards in the future.
We'd have to watch all those movies. Best actress, really?
Best
actress, and you use the word actress. Oh my! It is so big.
Is it not?
I have never seen one like that.
Is it not true that the etymology of the word actress comes from the word prostitute in ancient Greece? I think it does.
This is a myth.
Well, hold on a second.
It comes from the word actor, and during that era where you always just add an S.
Maybe it was actress. I think it's actress.
Yes. Actor, actress.
Let's see. Actor, actress. What am I hearing? There's some kind of truck downstairs. Let's see. Etymology. Female who does something. Okay. Uh-huh. I guess I like my explanation better.
Yeah, you figured that.
There you go.
And I want to remind people we do have a show on Thursday. And the Thursday show has been lagging the Sunday show, which makes no sense to me. But okay.
Now, did you request people set up a monthly donation in the newsletter?
What I did was I mentioned that you read the newsletter.
Yeah, I can't remember.
That we have this 24 thing going on, and we once upon a time had I didn't mention any monthlies. I said once upon a time we had a $24 a year donation level, which I think only one person still has retained because everybody else, they put it in on their credit card, and PayPal, you change your credit card number, the date, the expiration date, and boom, PayPal kicks all these There's nobody left, and it's over a year. So it's a crazy way to do things. Somebody wrote me in and said, wrote a letter to me saying, I've never had a problem like you're always bitching about on PayPal because I had my PayPal account attached to my bank checking account instead of to my credit card. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
And thus, you don't have this issue. But
you also have no money in your PayPal account. And I think that you get a better deal. We don't, but you do on payment. PayPal. I think there's no fee. There's some benefit to doing it. I don't like the idea of having anybody be able to just take money from my bank account, but it can be done with PayPal.
Yeah, well,
apparently.
Onward.
Yes.
We really do want to thank everyone for the support we got for this show.
It's really appreciated.
And that includes the $24 guys.
All right.
So I was watching the McLaughlin report, and they did a kind of, and this was right after we did our last show where you blew the lid off the
Mike Morrell
baloney, which is called high hacking. According to the McLaughlin report, where you go in the computer of the airplane while it's flying around. So they did a little segment on it. I have it listed.
Okay, this is the Chris Roberts guy who all the tech press were reporting that he made the plane fly sideways.
And by the way, have you seen this guy, Chris Roberts?
Yes.
You seen him?
Yeah, with a beard and a skull cap.
Beard, bald head. He looks like a maniac.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm watching this McLaughlin report, and they're idiots. Except the joke is they bring this topic out, and everybody agrees, including Buchanan and everyone, that it's so dangerous, and this guy's, they could do this. So I'm going to play McLaughlin introducing the topic, and then throwing it to this guy from the National Review, another fine publication, the National Review, and he goes and he's all in. Then it goes to Eleanor. She's the only one that calls bull crap.
Eleanor, the constitutional lawyer lady,
blown away.
Is this the hijacking Eleanor?
Yeah.
The in-flight entertainment system. Once on that network, he was able to gain access to other systems on the planes.
This blows me away, John. This blows me away. Every mainstream media outfit is just claiming all of this, just based on bullcrap.
The in-flight entertainment system. Once on that network, he was able to gain access to other systems on the planes. Unquote. The question is, high hacking a serious threat, or is there something fishy about this incident? Tom Rogan.
Well, I think it's a serious problem in the sense that you have someone, it shows the complacency, but also the ignorance, actually, in terms of airlines and their security with these seat back that a guy was able to hack in. Is this easy?
Wait, who is this guy? It's a Brit, of course.
This guy's Rogan from the National Review, a conservative writer.
Yeah, you bring in a Brit and it always sounds official. Like, let's pay attention.
Well, ignorance, actually, in terms of airlines and their security with these seat back that a guy was able to hack in. Is this easy to do? No. Will they improve it? Yes. But listen, it's a good example of, in the technological age, stuff that would once only exist in a Hollywood movie now exists horrifically in real life. Plane flying sideways.
I think his claims have been questioned, and unless you think he was suicidal, I don't think he did anything on these planes that jeopardized safety. If there's a problem in the system, I think they ought to get some experts, not necessarily him, looking at it, and it can be fixed. I'm not worried about it.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
They get some experts, not necessarily him.
Whew.
I was stunned.
You know what? If I met Eleanor Clift after this segment, you know what I'd say to her? Nice fabric.
Nice fabric.
Nice fabric.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now you've got to wonder. She's always all in on everything. Why did she decide to go all no agenda on their ass?
I don't know. She must have got a briefing or something by.
I think so
too. Who knows who to tell?
Oh, I know. Oh, of course. She represents other experts who want to get in on this.
That could be.
And I did receive a number of very detailed emails with tons of documents, and I want to make sure that people understand. Are planes hackable? Everything's hackable. All software, everything has holes and vulnerabilities, and of course, anything is really possible when you sit and think about it. We're not saying it's not possible. We're saying this guy didn't do it. and his claims are bogus, and the warrant that was served.
It is something. But even they did suggest it's fishy. Now, I'm talking about this sort of like misdirection and bullcrap stories. I found this particular clip to be very offensive to me personally, because Democracy Now! Seems to me to be an alternative media system that has it has an agenda that is always definable, but then once in a while you makes you wonder who they're really working for when they produce a story like this Guatemala Mullinex Democracy Now! Clip. By the way, here's a good thing for you. See if you can spot what it is in this story that irked me.
Guatemalan President Otto Perez Molina has fired several top officials amidst a corruption scandal, which has prompted calls for his resignation. President Perez Molina said he had dismissed his Interior, Energy, and Environment ministers, the intelligence chief, and other officials. This week, at least 16 people, including the central bank chief and head of the Social Security Institute, were arrested on accusations of rigging a contract for dialysis services in favor of a pharmaceutical firm. A number of patients died after the shift. This follows an earlier probe over a customs fee corruption ring, which prompted the Guatemalan vice president to resign.
Didn't catch it.
Okay. I'll tell you what it is, and it bugged me. Here we are, this groundbreaking, investigative. We're all, into finding this and that and pointing the finger. And she uses the line for rigging a dialysis contract on behalf of a pharmaceutical company.
Oh.
What pharmaceutical company?
Yes. Huh. Yeah.
Why didn't she name it?
I read that 75% of all advertising in the United States is pharmaceutical. That also includes underwriting, obviously, and other important little ditties like that.
Yeah.
Huh.
They got everybody all drugged up, too. It's terrible. Yeah. And by the way...
You're saying, by the way, a lot today.
But I don't have any clips of this. I should. And somehow I didn't get any. But over the weekend, while they were having protests in San Francisco over some topless... Actually, play this, and then I'll go into what I'm going to go into. Play the topless protest, and this is the kind of thing we're getting around here.
Protesters gathered in at least 20 cities across the country for a national day of action to honor women of color killed by police. While names like Freddie Gray and Michael Brown have become household terms, protesters sought to elevate lesser-known names like Tanisha Anderson, Rakia Boyd, Miriam Carey, Michelle Clouseau, Shelley Frey, Kayla Moore, and Ayanna Stanley Jones. Hundreds gathered in San Francisco, many of them African-American women who protested topless.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me get this straight. So in the grand inequality conversation, which certainly on pay has been debunked many, many times, it is still so irksome that women want to be killed just as much as men.
No, they want their name known as much.
Oh, okay. Okay.
See, these are household names, according to Amy. There were household names, these dead guys.
And you think with the president having two daughters, and he's always used the "if it was my son" line, he could have easily used the "if it was my daughter" line.
He never does that.
No. But then
he has two daughters.
Yes.
And he can't say "if it was," and then the two daughters go, "We're here."
But we know we're not really our dad.
So while they're protesting topless, which I think demeans the protest. I mean, how serious can you take them? Bunch of tits wandering
around. What's the point?
Every place else in the world except here, they're protesting Monsanto.
Right.
They're protesting Monsanto in France and Paris, about 5 or 6 cities there. Berlin, there's a huge protest. Everybody in Europe and around the world protesting Monsanto and their products in a big way, and it's not being covered at all Monsanto. Here. At all.
Well,
and there's no protests.
There is a...
Or are they in Berkeley? They should be in Berkeley protesting. No, there's a bunch of, we have tits instead.
You can say breasts. Tits is kind of, it's kind of...
tits, yeah, okay, I shouldn't say tits.
There were some topless women in Central Park on Sunday.
Topless?
Oh, yeah.
Protesting Monsanto?
No, just hanging out, just laying around, just catching some rays. This is a big deal in New York. The city ordinance is now clear that men and women both can be topless.
Well,
in public.
I've always believed if you let guys go around bare chested, why can't? What's the women?
Of course, it's the same thing. Well, we're so nuts here.
There's
in
nipples.
America. Whoa, nipple! You said nipple.
Meanwhile, while the women are protesting the killing of some of these unknown names, I find it extremely annoying that we have black stereotypes on television that are so outrageous and nobody says anything about it, and they let them slide. And I'm talking in this case,
Blackish. Blackish.
No, Blackish. Blackish is it's humor. It's supposed to be, and I suppose it's supposed to be funny too. But I think it's the worst kind of stereotyping of black women. On The Talk. The Talk is one of those,
it's like The View.
CBS show.
Yeah.
And Cheryl Underwood is there as comic relief to play the fabulous black woman over, this kind of a stereotype black mama. And I personally find it offensive, and I shouldn't, because you're not black, you shouldn't be offended. You leave the offense to the other side of the.
Okay, now I have not heard the clip. Give me the topic, and I will tell you what she sounds like.
The topic is
I'm going to try.
In Cannes at the film festival, the French put some rule in it. If you're going to go up the red carpet, you have to wear heels. If you're a woman.
Yes, in Cannes.
Everybody's all up in arms about this because there's some actress apparently with missing a foot. She can't wear
Yes, she's from The Real Housewives.
She can't wear heels.
Missing a leg.
There was a big fuss about this, and so they decide to discuss it.
Okay. Let me think. I need a little more so I can figure out.
That's all I got.
That's all you got? I'll just have to listen then.
Just super quickly, don't you guys think a place like a film festival is about self-expression? So it seems funny to be limiting people's expression.
It is.
You're at a creative venue.
Oh, but it's so very French. So get a foot when it has a heel. It's very right. So we do not care you have conditions. Fix it.
That's probably why I'm never gonna get invited to Cannes, because I would have cussed their ass out when I was wearing high heels, but all this damn walking, my big ass walked it down to a flat.
Wow! My baby daddy did over that. Come on down, walk me down to a flat. Look at my big ass, mama. Woo!
If anybody could convince the French, the entire country of France, it would be you, Cheryl. It would be you.
A good idea. Send her to France. They can keep her. Yeah. But this is the...
And this is CBS, by the way.
Well, okay, so
let's push this. This is good. We'll make her famous.
Well, while we're on that then, this cultural Marxism, which apparently only cuts one way, where if you're white and somewhat heterosexual, male, you can't make fun of anybody anymore. You can't even make fun of straight white women. It's verboten. You can't do any of this. And certainly not when it comes to religion. However, the president, we make jokes all the time. And certainly when it comes to the Jewish faith, we mess with everybody. But to hear the president do it of course, this is Jewish Heritage Month. And he was speaking, where was he? At a Jewish gathering, apparently.
Earlier this week, I was actually interviewed by one of your members.
We say this a lot. I say this a lot. This actually, I believe it's incorrect speech to do this. Can you help deconstruct that for me? When he says, I was actually interviewed by, what does that exactly mean? Why do I use this word? Why does the president use this word? Someone will tell us.
Earlier this week, it's like frankly. Frankly, I believe. What are you just lying to me the rest of the time?
It's a performative.
It's one of those support. I think you're right. It's a supportive word because apparently you're so full of crap that you have to say frankly, I blah blah blah, because most of the time you're just lying. And he says actually because most of the time he's lying.
I'm shocked to find performatives being used in here.
Earlier this week, I was actually interviewed by one of your members, Jeff Goldberg.
Good,
and Jeff reminded me that he once called me the first Jewish president. Now, since some people still seem to be wondering about my faith, I should make clear this was an honorary title.
This is a very meta thing he's doing here, because we all know he's Muslim. I mean, come on. Thank you, the laugh track.
But I was flattered and as an honorary member of the tribe.
Oh, now in no way can you even, as a goyim, ever say tribe or anything like that. That you can't say these things, but the president can say it.
Not to mention somebody who's hosted 7 White House Seders and been advised by...
It's just food, people.
And been advised by 2 Jewish chiefs of staff. I can also...
Is he not saying some of my best friends are Jewish? Isn't that what he's saying here? Isn't that what that is? Some of my best friends are Jews.
Yeah.
Of staff. I can also proudly say that I'm getting a little bit of the hang of the lingo.
Oh, I thought he was going to say, I'm going to get circumcised.
But I will not use any of the Yiddishisms that Rahm Emanuel taught me because
oi,
I want to be invited back. Let's just say he had some creative new synonyms for shalom.
Huh. Shabbat shit shalom? Nah, I don't know.
I thought it was innocuous. I did hear the right-wing radio talk show guys go nuts over this.
Oh, of course, because they're all in on Israel. What were they saying?
Oh, who does he think he is? Yeah, it's the same crap. It's nothing interesting. He's trying to bring this country to his feet. The best guy is Mark Levin.
With Seder.
The great one. Mark Levin. I'm Mark Levin. This president's trying to ruin this country. We're all going to be in prison, in chains because of him.
Yeah.
He's great. These guys are incredibly entertaining.
Going back to Monsanto, 2 things I wanted to say. One about the protest. Up in Seattle, there was a kayak protest against offshore drilling, and
I had a clip of it. We played it 3 shows ago. This was the paddles in Seattle.
Did we mention that kayaks are made from petroleum? I guess we didn't.
No, we didn't mention
Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony, people.
Maybe they had them out of birch bark.
I saw pictures. No, these were no canoes. these were kayaks made out of petroleum.
That is funny.
The irony, people. And I think this bug thing, it dawned on me.
You're talking about the moth in this room?
No, I'm talking about the protein that are in crickets, and we all have to.
Oh, the eating bugs.
Bugs, yeah. Bugs. With all this heat on Monsanto and all of the this really is a way for the packaged goods companies and companies of Monsanto ilk to sell more bullcrap to the people. Because, face it, you're not going to go out and catch grasshoppers. You're going to go to Trader Joe's and pick up a pack of crickets. And
nobody's going to do this.
Oh, yes, they will. Cricket flour. Oh, yeah.
Now, I will say this.
It'll start with cupcakes. It'll start with cricket flour used in cupcakes. Put it in the book. Put it in the red book. Cricket flour cupcake.
Okay, I will, actually.
Put it cricket flour.
And I said actually, because most of the time I lie.
This is
I'm going to put it in the red book. Now, I have an anecdote. So some joker public relations company, they sent a game or some product over to the house with a bunch of notes and stuff attached. And
for you, so people are still so stupid they think you're going to do a good review of something. They still send you stuff. When does the memo get out?
There was a bunch of packaged bugs to eat, edible bugs. Mm-hmm. There was, and one of them was, I think it was some grasshoppers or something, and it was all part of the. It was a good pitch, and it had, but these bugs, of course, I just threw them out. I was going to, but my daughter and her friend,
here we go,
Sabina, were over, and I said, "Who would eat these?" I'm mumbling to myself,
which is not uncommon in the house.
And I said, "Who would eat this stuff? What kind of maniacs are going to eat these bugs?" And my daughter says, "I'd eat them." I said, "What?" And her friend says, "Yeah, I'd eat them." I said, "You're bull crap." So I opened them up, and they both ate these bugs. I'm thinking, what's wrong? What's wrong?
It's the programming. This is why it's so easy for me to predict, being from the future and all, that cupcakes with cricket flour, it's being integrated.
Okay, I'm adding it now.
Yeah, and you can do the marketing opportunities and possibilities are phenomenal. Well, shit, John, we should make some bug food for people.
Bug food.
Texas gnats. No-see-ums.
Texas gnats.
No-see-ums. Yummy on your Cheerios. Yeah, we could have
no-see-ums.
Do you remember the no-see-ums?
Yeah, no-see-ums.
Yeah.
Oh, delicious. What does you got in there? I got no-see-ums. No-see-ums. Oh, my
delicious.
God.
Delicious.
Delicious no-see-ums.
Hey, there was a pretty cool bill that came through the House. And I believe, I have to check it and see if this thing, look up HR 1508, if you will. See if that thing has gone, how far this has gone.
Is this in this is the 114th,
114, right? Yeah, the 114th Congress. May have been signed, I have a feeling it may have been signed into law already. This is the space...
HR 14?
1508.
HR what?
1508.
1508 and 114. Okay.
I can track it here. Let me see. I'll track it. What does it say?
It is. This is the 113th. It says it came in.
No, it's the 114th. It's the 114th.
Is this the Space Resources?
Yes, that's the one.
Space Utilization Act of 2015.
That's the one. So I believe it passed the House. It may already be ready to be signed.
Point of this law.
Well, but let me read a little bit from it. This is for the commercialization of space resource exploration and utilization. It is a legal framework for property rights. Any asteroid resources obtained in outer space are the property of the entity that obtained such resources, which shall be entitled to all property rights hereto consistent with applicable provisions of federal law. This is about who will own.
This is in case the Google rocket lands at the same time as the Yahoo rocket.
Yeah, they're going to have to see.
And one of them gets to claim the asteroid so they can chip off the platinum. It's supposed to be platinum or whatever's on an asteroid. Let me take a look.
I think it is more about this is more a way for us, for the United States to claim in case China's were up there, or, someone else says that. And it's all about asteroids, resources.
We can claim all we want. This is not a treaty.
No, it's not.
This is only about us. So
I know.
Has to do with two American companies. It can't apply to China.
But it's a setup. It's. I think it's staking a claim that I don't know if there's other countries that have similar laws on the books.
No, they wouldn't need them.
So, but there are some stipulations. If you're going to go up and get an asteroid. United States
on an asteroid, you can find gold, iridium, silver, osmium, palladium, platinum, like I said, rhenium, rhodium.
I think you're right.
Ruthenium, and tungsten.
These are tungsten. These are the rules of the game for people doing this. Safety of operations: a United States commercial space resource utilization entity shall avoid causing harmful interference in outer space. The United States commercial space resource utilization entity may bring a civil action for appropriate legal or equitable relief or both under this chapter for any action by another entity subject to United States jurisdiction causing harmful interference to its operations. So you can't be fighting each other in space. This is great. Space wars. I've always predicted this would happen. In a civil action, we're going to have lawsuits about who owns the asteroid. They must be much further than they're letting on with this stuff.
I think you might be right. That's would be the only reason some stupid legislation like this would even be introduced.
Have you been able to track where this thing is at?
Oh, I had it on GovTrack, so it should be tracked. Let's see. What did I do with it?
I love me some Space Wars, man. This is good.
Let's see where it says. It's 26% chance of being enacted, so it's not necessarily doing that well.
Oh, okay. All right. But I thought it had passed the House already.
The identical one is S976.
Oh, so it's in the Senate.
It's in both. Right now, it's introduced and reported by committee. It has not passed the House or anything else. It's just in committee.
There apparently is.
I take it back. The committee has issued a report to the full chamber recommending that the bill be considered.
And this is it appears maybe in contrast or in opposition to the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, which already secures the right to explore and use space without harmful interference. But it must be balanced against the rights in the treaty. Okay. Well, maybe I'm just putting it out there for people to help us, for our producers worldwide. And I'm sure we have people in NASA. Don't we have people in NASA?
Maybe.
We don't
have anybody writing in telling us that they're helping. They're in NASA, and they're glad to tell us what bullcrap's going on.
Well, we do have an international flag of planet Earth now, which will be used by our space agency. Which is, have you seen this?
Would we make some sort of wild assumption that, let's say, there are beings out there that are not of Earth, and that they would recognize or care about or implement or have anything to do with what we call a flag?
I guess. But there is a flag. You should look at it. It's kind of like a giant intertwined pretzel.
Now you got my curiosity. This is the flag. What's it called?
International flag of planet Earth. Maybe the Swedes came up with this.
Who did this flag? Who approved it?
I'm going to see.
The Planetary Federation?
Yes.
Or the United Nations?
Yes, the Planetary Federation. Yeah.
Okay. International flag of planet Earth. Looks like an EU flag.
It does. It does. The purpose of the flag.
The dumbest flag. This is some sort of an Illuminati thing. Which one are you looking at? Are you looking at the one that's got all the rings?
Yeah, the blue background with all the rings and kind of flowery pretzel-looking thing.
Yeah.
The purpose of the intro. Current expeditions in outer space use different national flags depending on which country is funding the voyage. The space travelers, however, are more than just representatives of their own countries. They are representatives of planet Earth. Purpose of the flag, to be used while representing planet Earth. I need this.
You got to go to type in the search international flag of planet Earth and then hit images.
Yes.
And then you got to go down until you see this one flag, which is apparently it's on a blue background, and it's like somebody slapped their hand into white paint and just put it on the flag.
Hold on, let me see.
Hilarious.
Where is this? I don't. Oh yeah, that is funny. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, there's a lot more going on than we know about up there. There's a lot more.
Well, they're keeping it a secret.
Well, yeah. To represent planet Earth. Hello, people of Earth. They should put Yoko Ono on the flag. Hello, people of Earth. Oh, did you read that?
No.
I got no play. Yoko Ono. Let me find this. I had this on Thursday, but didn't get to it. Yoko Ono. I'm going to read the whole article. You like this. And I couldn't find an audio clip, but this is from, so maybe it's bogus, but it seemed like a pretty credible report. Los Angeles, Yoko Ono shocked reporters yesterday when she responded to a question concerning the presidential run of Hillary Clinton and the possibility she could become the first woman president of the United States in American history. Artist and widow of John Lennon, who was in Los Angeles to present a collection of cups and saucers. Wow, what a gig. What a gig. She's exhibiting the cups and saucers. The Museum of Modern Art totally took reporters by surprise by admitting she had not only met former First Lady at various times during a series of protests against the Vietnam War in New York in the 70s, but also knew her intimately. She admitted laughingly to have had a fling with her at the time and acknowledged her election would be a great advancement for LGBT and women's rights in America. Here's the quote. We met many times during the New York Vietnam War protests in the 70s and became very intimate. We shared many of the same values about sexual equality, fighting against the authoritarian, patriarchal, male-dominated society in which we were raised. We had a brief romantic fling when I lived with John in Manhattan and Hillary was studying at Yale. But eventually we lost touch, so to speak. I'm amazed how things are going well for her and wish her the best for her campaign. And that goes right hand in hand with the new report. I don't know if you saw this about this, and this is all distraction, of course, from everything else that's going on, that a reporter from Economist magazine, this is one of her emails. I'm surprised you didn't catch this one. where, let's see, Monica Langley is her name. They have a transcript of actually a copy of this email where Monica Langley. This is just too delicious to be true. Monica Langley was interviewing Hillary Clinton, and this is October 11th, 2012. And the email, which is from some other Clinton operative, starts off by saying, "This will be exciting when it's FOIA'd, but I'll give you a sense of the interaction. HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Monica, have a seat. HRC motions toward a chair situated an appropriate distance from her preferred spot on the couch. Monica, sure. Monica proceeds to drag her chair within inches of the secretary, leaning in even further. Interview proceeds. About midway, Monica says, "Oh, Hillary, 2016, 16, 16. Monica grabs Hillary's knee. HRC laughs awkwardly, glances at Philippe, I guess the press agent. Monica leans in further. "Oh, Hillary, what do you eat, drink, dream about when you sleep?" Monica again touches Hillary's leg. Everybody laughs awkwardly. Monica says, "They think I'm so funny. Hill, can I ride on your lap to the White House?" And this went on for another 45, 50 minutes of her knee to knee. And as the press secretary says, she moved that yellow chair as close as it went, knee to knee, amazed she didn't try knee in between knee. And if that wasn't enough, she leaned forward more like a pivot as far as her torso could fold towards to minimize the space between their heads. It was like the dental hygienist rolling around the floor to get the best access to your mouth, depending on what tooth she was trying to get access to. I've never seen a Westerner invade her space like that, and even the non-Westerners I've seen do it based on cultural differences have been only briefly to greet. This went on for 51 minutes, unacceptable in any culture. I don't even think you see that behavior among any type of mammal. The touching of the leg, repeatedly calling her Hillary, was just gravy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So these letters, they released a big deal. They released 300 Clinton emails, and I found something peculiar about this. And I don't know why they throw these little gems out there, and nobody really makes a big fuss about it. And then Hillary says, "Well, it's no big deal." But play the 300 Clinton emails.
The State Department today released nearly 300 emails from then Secretary Hillary Clinton on the 2012 attack in Benghazi, Libya. The FBI asked that parts of one be labeled secret and withheld. It was unclassified when Clinton received it in November of that year on her private email server. At a presidential campaign event in New Hampshire today, she said there was no security breach.
Yeah.
Now, the FBI, I don't get the connection. It seems to me that if there's something that's national security related that you'd want excised, you would have one of the intelligence agencies do it, not the FBI. The FBI can only be doing this because it's something they can use for blackmail.
Yes.
And nobody makes it. Why was it? It wasn't initially, it was not initially classified. Why is it classified now? Nobody's just pounding and pounding and pounding to find out why.
It seems that when you look at how the press vilified the big man from New Jersey, Christie.
Yeah, Christie.
Over Bridgegate, it seems that Hillary's getting a pretty easy ride on all this.
Yeah, well, she deserves it.
She does deserve it. But with all these things coming out and not really being grabbed and run with, maybe that's part of the strategy at a certain point. I mean, what I would have deep respect for her and would even more so want her to become president, as I already do, if she came out as gay or bisexual. She should just say it. That would clinch it.
It wouldn't clinch anything.
It would clinch it. Yes, it would.
Yeah,
clinch.
In your little circle.
Look at Ireland. 75% of the Irish public that participated in the referendum said, yes, we want gay marriage to be legalized and entered into our Constitution.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the Irish want Clinton as president.
No, but it's an overall world theme, which is being expertly executed by the Illuminati to reduce the population. It's been done very well. Being done.
It's doing its job.
Great expertise, I would say. No, I think that, between killing Bill or an unfortunate accident or health issue and then, coming out.
The last time he was on Letterman, he did one of the last shows.
Oh, man, he looked so bad.
He looked bad, and he just, and he's just slow talking. They got him drugged up.
Oops, sorry. I meant to hit this one.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
We do have some people to thank for the basic donations. It falls off a little bit, kind of like the Warriors did in the second half of the game where they slaughtered the other team after a good first half. But we do have a few people to thank for show 724, including Dmitry Rabinovich in Phoenix, Arizona, $176.55. Bless me, broskies, for I have sinned.
Broskies.
It's been 8 months since my last donation after listening to a conversation between 4 adults at the pool earlier today. I realized that your show is the only reason I don't feel like I'm the only crazy one on the island.
That's all right, son. Do 17 in the mornings and you will be cleansed.
17 in the mornings, which reminds me of a joke, but much love. Sir Craig Kuttner, good old Craig. 12345 or 12345 initiator, Norwalk, Connecticut. Glad to do my part for the best podcast in the universe and keep up the top-notch show and to keep the top-notch show off the skids. By the way, we had a lot of people comment on show 723 being one of our best shows after other people commented that 722 is one of our best shows. And I should mention that we talk about this in a post-mortem after the show, and the two of us agree.
It was a good show.
That show 723 is one of the really great shows, and you could use that to make people listen.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep up with the excellent work and stay on the media assassin's toes, on your media assassin toes for the election of 2016. It will sneak up on you before you know it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he says not for some reason. Sir Andrew Lemessiny. Yeah, I don't know why I have so much trouble pronouncing his name in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I love what you do. He's napping for humanity. He's the Duke of America's Mountain. Christopher Eve in Tokyo, $110. He sent a clipping in about the Chinese bringing in strippers for funerals, and we did talk about that on the show.
I don't remember this.
I thought we talked about it on the show.
The Chinese with strippers? Maybe we did.
The Chinese are trying to. Apparently, people are ignoring funerals, which they shouldn't be doing culturally, and so now they've decided to have gimmicks, free food, and strippers come to the funeral to get people to show up.
If I die before you do, this is it.
I'm bringing the guy back.
What?
I'm bringing my announcer back.
Yes, yeah. I want a pole. I want lights. I want the disco ball.
I'll bring a couple of the girls on.
Yeah. Hey, girls. Just try and keep them out is what I'd say. The Yellow Rose would have to close down.
Well, there may be some that are, they may be some real kinky ones.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't appreciate it. Jason McKinney in Sugar Land, Texas, $100. William Smock in Las Cruces, New Mexico, $75.
Oh, it's a knighthood completion.
Do you have him on the knighthood list?
It says this should complete my knighthood right in time for my birthday. So let me just double check. Man, there's some machine outside that's making a real racket.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, I can. Let me see if I have him on the list.
He's on a birthday list for sure.
Yeah, but he has to be on the...
Not necessarily.
Yeah, Schmuck. Yep.
Schmuck.
Yeah, and he's also on the birthday list. Yes. Yep. Good.
Sean McCorkle in Arlington, Virginia, $72.40. Peter Tangney in Randolph, Massachusetts, and he's in for $65.43. Eric Brune, I believe is a sir.
Sounds right.
Says that episode 723 is the best episode in recent memory. The analysis of the Obama Coast Guard speech was genius.
We're just calling it as we see it. I'm just a VJ.
Yeah, VJ. At least you're not a VJJ. Matt Seaver, and you're going to say that, I'll say that. Knoxville, Tennessee, $55.10. Curtis Barton in Springville, Utah, $52.47. Levi Wagner, $51.50 from Manitowoc. I think it's Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Eric Cool in McDonough.
That's Eric Knoll, I think.
I thought it said Cool. Eric Knoll. I'm reading this from across the room. Eric Knoll.
It's on the other machine?
McDonough.
You're using your X-ray vision?
$51.15. Zachary Shaley in Cincinnati, Ohio, $51.15. He says he was hit in the mouth by his brother Nathan in 2012, and he's been a boner ever since. However, in the brink of his 33rd birthday, and with a road trip from Cincinnati to Washington tonight, following a shift in the delivery driver, figured he better donate and ask for some karma. Well, you get that at the end. Sir Brian Navarro, Los Angeles, California, $51.15. Shannon Atkins in Warren, Michigan, $50.50. She says, the show is worth more to me than this, but alas, this is what there is to give to the show that I appreciate the effort. And she's a dude named Shannon, so she's in IT, apparently.
Send pictures.
Jeffrey Fitch in Winter Garden, Florida, $50.05. And then the following people are $50 donors each, including Intella Armor, LLC, over there in Portland, Oregon. Jared Hall in Lincoln, Nebraska. Timothy Kieran.
Can you just, I just wanted to read the Jared Hall note for a moment.
Yeah.
My godfather hit me in the mouth during the Ukraine plan debacle. I was already thinking along the lines of the best podcast in the universe, but that episode solidified the thought that I was not alone. We go to church with Sir Richard of the Law Library in Lincoln, who I met in Austin last year. And in fact, he is godfather to my two sons, so it's keeping it in the family, so to speak. My godfather, Sam, and I run a small blog that also sells shirts from which our donation is made. We are both longtime boners, so please dedouche us both. Sam Dunk and Jared Hall, thank you for keeping us sane, giving us a good laugh. On Thursdays when we specifically get together to have drinks and listen to the podcast. God keep you both safe. We know you're next on the hit list. Okay, thank you.
There's a big hit list, and we're not on it. You want to give him a dedouching?
Yeah, I was looking out the window to see what that noise is all about, of course.
You've been dedouched.
Okay, Timothy Kiernan in Plymouth, Michigan. Macy Stolowski in Calgary, Alberta. Sandy Geisler in Watkinsville, Georgia. Sir Patrick Maycomb in New York City. Andrew Martin in Torella, New South Wales. Jason Daniels of Dallas, Texas. Brandon Mink in Tempe, Arizona. Benjamin Smith over here in Oakland. Hello, Ben. And finally, Stephen Kirkpatrick in Langley, Washington.
Maybe Stephen? You think it's Stephen?
I think it's, Stephen, now that we have these basketball games and Stephen Curry is like the superstar, I'm going to pronounce it Stephen.
It's weird when you walk into a bar in New York and there's guys watching TV and they're wearing a sports shirt with it. I think it's number 30 and then Curry on the back.
Yeah.
A little disturbing.
Why?
Because,
these guys, these jerseys sell. The jip of it is.
Jip.
The jip of it is that Curry doesn't get a nickel from that. These leagues, they should cut these players in if they have a popular jersey.
Just continue. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can shut some of this noise out. I know you don't hear it, but I do.
I don't hear it, but okay. So we have, let's see if there's anything else on here that we might be. Oh, yeah, we did have a lot of lesser donations because there's a bunch of those $24 ones. And so there's a few people. I won't mention their names because we don't mention names under 50 because of the anonymous need for anonymity. But he says a lot of people say this is my first donation and then maybe it's the way to get started.
I'm back.
Thanks for the show. 724 is my number. 2424. Got to start sometime with something. Thanks, guys. And he says cover art, one guy, Mr. Richard, says cover art like 722 makes it hard to share no agenda at work. So what was cover art 722?
ISIS slave.
Oh, it's just a
come on, it's just not even. It's just a midriff.
She's covered.
Yeah, hard to share because we're so Puritan here. America. If
they're naked, they're not exposed.
What kind of evil ruse is this? Where we've become. We can't talk even. You can't even say the word nipple on television, But yet everything you see around this is all based on sex. You don't drink this beer, you'll never get laid. Don't drive this car, your penis will fall off. It's so mean. It's mean.
It's teasing. It's like I don't know. It's just to keep you preoccupied, because if you can't share that 722 cover art at work because someone will see, it's not even a flimsy bikini. It's like a pretty well covered up woman.
Yeah.
That makes you think more about it.
Yeah. It's teasing. Okay. Got it.
All right.
Is that
anyway, I want to thank all these folks. Remember, we have a show on Thursday, and Dvorak.org/NA would be an appropriate place to go.
And give everybody a jobs karma. It always seems to be helpful.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
All right. Yes, we do have a show on Thursday. Please help us out.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Quick note before we do this birthday mention, because it's a success story. Adam and John just writing in asking if you could mention my 20th birthday on Sunday, May 24th. I started listening to No Agenda when I was in college in Orlando in 2009 and crawled up the East Coast, living in entirely compromised cities such as Pittsburgh and New Haven, finally making it to Brooklyn to hopefully begin building a media empire. No Agenda has become an indispensable part of my life and the only thing to accompany me throughout all the places I've been and lived over the last 6 years. Don't know what I would do without you guys. Also, just as a point of reference, since John keeps complaining about millennials, which I love because we both complain about millennials, but somehow you get the rap. Which I love that.
Because I actually know millennials.
Well, we both have millennial children. We're not all uneducated. We're not all uneducated, uncultured swine with vocal fry. I'm an eloquent, sophisticated, and musically literate individual with a passion for designing, writing, making music, and of course, a techno expert. I also have a huge love for classic rock, am good at real math, and try to minimize my consumerism. So hold out hope. Not all is lost, and maybe you're spending time with too many shitty West Coast hippies.
Possibly.
It's, yes, very possible. Okay. Well, there you go. Thank you all very much. I'm sorry?
Well, I was going to. Well, no. Let's go on with this, and I have a clip.
Well, I have to do the birthdays. I have have birthdays, and I have nightings to do. This, but there's stuff in the show that we kind of have to. The B block. Says happy birthday to his daughter Marit. She will be turning 6. She turned 6 on the 23rd of May, and he requested a special birthday mention. Eric Newman, as we just said, turning 28 today. Mike Bernston says happy birthday to his boy Jesse James, turning 33. The magic numbers. William Schmuck celebrates on the 27th. Zachary Staley will be 33 on May 28th. And Matt Seaver says congratulations, as do we. Congratulations on the birth of his new human resource Chase, born May 11th. Happy birthday, and welcome to Gitmo Nation from all your buddies here at the best podcast in the universe. Okay, I have dust in my throat or something. I don't know what's going on. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 nightings. Man,
we're on a roll.
Yeah, I'm using the. I only unpacked the portable sword, so it's a little shorter. If you got your long blade.
Oh yeah.
Okay, very good. Could we have Bradley Charles, Shane Kirk, William Schmock, and Lucas Tayama on the podium, please? Come to the stump, gentlemen. All of you have contributed to the best podcast in the universe, the amount of $1,000 or more, and therefore I'm very happy and proud to pronounce the Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable. We have Sir Bradley Charles, Sir DevOps Name Ben, Sir William Schmock, and Sir Lucas Tayama. Welcome for you, hookers and blow, rent boys and Chardonnay, raspberry pies and breakfast burritos, pork ribs and pale ale, drama and DMT, porn stars and pot, maker's mark and mushrooms, Kundalini yoga and jambo, 3 geishas and a bucket of fried chicken, vodka and vanilla bong hits and bourbon, and obviously mutton and meat. Go to noagendanation.com/rings. Thank you all. Some of these have come up through the ranks, many, many years of small donations, and you will be receiving your official No Agenda signet ring with the sealing wax with your certification. And please feel free to tweet that out so that we can retweet and show everyone that you are a part of the roundtable for the No Agenda Knights and the Dames. And everyone's support is appreciated, as John already mentioned, especially those on monthly donations. Thank you, thank you. You said on Thursday, which was the best chill ever. And I got received several responses about that. it appears we may be just rubbleizing, blowing up all the oil in the Middle East. I'm paraphrasing what you said.
Right. That's why we're pushing all this other stuff in the United States. So when it happens, we don't go under.
And we had so just to review, the president, I didn't bring up any clips of this, but he said, no, there will be no boots on the ground, no boots on the ground, no boots on the ground. There's like, yeah, but we'll have 1,500 advisors, they're training, and which doesn't mean they're sitting there in a classroom with a blackboard saying, here's the enemy, here's how you go.
Pointer
some
stick.
X's and O's, yeah, with a little pointer, a little laser pointer. No, they are in the front lines in this combat. And we saw that ISIS took over, what is it? I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, the new place.
Palmyra. It's not a new place.
No, it isn't. It's not. But play the clip. This is the ISIS update.
Okay. Oh, this will help.
We'll work from there.
ISIS update.
The self-proclaimed Islamic State has reportedly seized the last Syrian government-controlled border crossing between Syria and Iraq. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says Syrian troops have withdrawn from Al-Tanf. ISIL's latest advance follows its capture of the Iraqi city of Ramadi and the ancient Syrian city of Palmyra. UNESCO Director General Irina Bokova appealed for a ceasefire in Palmyra to preserve some of the world's most renowned historic structures.
This is so funny because everyone's saying, oh, it's what is the word they're using, John? Because it contains, McCain says it, I think, in this little interview where he's calling for more boots on the ground. What is the word? Antiquities. That's it. The antiquities.
Yeah, antiquities.
The antiquities. Bullshittities is what I'm calling on that. This is not about the antiquities. This is about the Iran-Iraq-Syria pipeline, this has been the entire issue from day one. This is what everybody wanted from the Pars fields in Iran. We have a big hand in this, even coming out from Azerbaijan. And this pipeline from Iran to Iraq to Syria to the port, that's what was requested. And Bashar al-Assad said, no, I'm going. No, there was the Qataris wanted the pipeline going up from Qatar up to the port of Ceyhan or even through Turkey. So if you look at Palermo, what is it called?
Yeah,
it's. I want to get it right because we're going to be talking about it a lot. It is exactly, and this is not the first time there was a battle here in the Second World War. They already had a pipeline in then. This is all about this particular pipeline. And so we get our guys in, which is what ISIS is, of course. And now we need to really start to surround Syria, to enclose them. And that's what's going on. McCain, of course, the front runner, asking for 10,000 combat troops just to start. Gee.
Just gave an interview to The Atlantic magazine yesterday, and he says, no, I don't think we're losing. There's no doubt there was a tactical setback. Is that how you see these losses?
It's just mind-boggling that the president could keep saying, and his spokesperson and others in the administration could keep saying what they're saying, while thousands of people are being butchered, burning bodies in the streets, executions, beheadings. And when you look at Palmyra, not only is it a scene, a place of incredible antiquities, but it's also in a key area that connects different parts of Syria. This is a disaster. It was predicted by me and Senator Lindsey Graham. And it's going to go on until we develop a strategy, and a strategy that will be implemented to stop this advance of ISIS and, of course, the chaos and slaughter that's going on, which is terrible.
Senator, we hear your frustration, but what is the U.S. role here? Your colleague and friend Lindsey Graham, who you just cited, he believes that it's time for U.S. ground troops to fight ISIS. Do you agree with that?
Well, we had a hearing yesterday, and among our witnesses were the two architects of the surge, General Keane and Fred Kagan, who convinced the president to reverse the strategy that was losing in 2006. And look, it's not massive American troops, but it is additional American troops. Do you know that 75%?
But seriously, how many? What number are you talking about?
I would say 10,000.
Okay, and how?
But they got to be on.
Yeah, but because he knows what it takes.
Ground, and they've got to be on the ground.
On the ground.
75% of the flights.
Hold on, stop. You continue this clip, but the question, the way it was posed, is your friend Lindsey Graham asked for 10,000 troops, boots on the ground. What do you think?
10,000.
And he goes and beats around the bush and never says anything. She said, well, how many do you think? He says 10,000.
Yeah.
No, that's 75%.
But seriously, how many?
I would say 10,000.
Okay.
But they got to be on the ground, and they've got to be on the ground. 75% of the flights, the combat sorties, are returning to the base without dropping a weapon. Do you know why? Because they don't have anybody on the ground to give them the targets that they need. This is an ineffectual air campaign, among others. And if we don't train and arm and equip and have people on the ground and military presence with these units, they will continue to disintegrate, particularly the Iraqi government army and the Iraqi army, which is now non-existent.
Okay. Well, a couple things. It's Palmyra, so I've written it down now, so I can say it right, because we're going to be talking.
Palmyra.
Is that how you say it? Palmyra.
Yeah, Palmyra.
Palmyra. I will put it down phonetically. Palmyra. Okay. We'll be hearing about this because now we remember it was Homs, Aleppo. We knew that was the Qatari pipeline.
Yeah, you stumbled onto this whole thing with Homs.
Right. And now we have Palmyra, and you can look up, the Wikipedia has a pretty detailed article on the original Palmyra War in the Second World War. And it was also about this pipeline. It
must be just a great, this spot, and they say so, it's a center, you can go everywhere. It's a good center place to have your headquarters. And then the pipeline goes through there. And then you have these so-called antiquities, which are a bunch of Roman ruins, because apparently the Romans discovered that this place was a good spot to run their business.
It'd be a great spot for a nightclub.
It must be.
A hot spot.
And I guess there's not a lot of, impediments to running pipelines right through that town. Boom.
And if you look at the map,
why wouldn't we protect it better?
Well, going back to your theory, blow it all up. Blow it all to kingdom
that's
come.
Right. What am I thinking?
And
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
I'm staying with that theory.
No, I like it. New shit has come to light.
There's two groups fighting. I think there's a number of factions. It's not like everybody's all in on anything. There's a bunch of people, but they're all in on what's going to make them the most money. I think the big boys, the top dogs, are the ones that want to blow it all up.
When did we first start hearing about ISIS, ISIL, and ultimately IS, and Levant and Daesh and all this? When did we first start hearing about this with any sincerity?
I don't know, a couple of years ago? I'm not sure.
2013?
Probably.
Not much earlier than that, I don't think.
No, it showed up out of the blue.
Document. Now released judicial.
Oh, this is a great. I wish I had a clip of this.
No,
I know what you're the defense intelligence.
Yes.
This is fantastic.
This is the 2012 Defense Intelligence Agency document that calls for the West to facilitate the rise of, quote, Islamic State in order to isolate the Syrian regime. And this has been. Well, they sued to get this under FOIA, and obviously we're being distracted to not look at this document with a whole bunch of other things like Benghazi. You almost think Benghazi was just done to what's 4 dudes? Kill a couple dudes so we don't have to talk about this. An Islamic State is desired in eastern Syria to affect the West's policies in the region. Quote, the West, Gulf countries, and Turkey, who support the Syrian opposition, is possibility of establishing a declared or undeclared Salafist principality in eastern Syria, which they say Hasaka and Deir Zor, and this is exactly what the supporting powers to the opposition want in order to isolate the Syrian regime. And this whole document talks about a group that would be called the Islamic State. This was a setup. And I'm going to say that.
Well, we know it was a setup because we had other evidence.
But the name Islamic State is what gets me.
Yeah, and that the reason they never settled on one name or another is because it was the meddlers, like the bureaucrats in the Islamic State. Well, I think we should also add this because it was more than just a state. We should have this and that. So they hit ISIS.
Well, also to obfuscate this. If it's called Islamic State, let's pay attention to who uses Islamic State.
Those guys who wrote that memo.
Yeah.
No, the memo says that we should create this which
Islamic State
done, and the Islamic State to do this isolation move. It was all part of a scheme, and this explains all kinds of things, like how did they get all these American weapons? Oh, they overran the Iraqi army, and the army just abandoned all the American gear. So now they're driving all this American gear. This is when they took over Mosul, I think, or one of them. And they all of a sudden they have all this American gear. They got tons of it. Where did that come from? Oh, the Iraqi army just they ran.
Yeah.
So we created this whole narrative. And in fact, I have this one clip, which is the let's see, where is it? This is the one with the IT. Where is he? Another IT. Yeah, this is another. If you haven't noticed, in all these reports, we get a lot when PBS does any of this, they always go to ITN. Always. They have no reporters. They don't. They just throw it to ITN, the International Independent Television News, which is out of England with the British guy.
MI6.
And they tell us what's going on. And here's the latest ITN report.
Jonathan Rugman of Independent Television News reports.
The lions are advancing and the pigs are retreating, says this jihadist fighter near the ruins of Palmyra. Inside this gas pumping station, the men have said...
I'd like to point out he said Palmyra and not Palmyra.
Inside this gas pumping station, the men of so-called Islamic State have found abandoned weapons and a poster of Syria's president, whose army was routed and overrun.
So there's a bunch. They show the video. I have to tell you the video. And by the way, the pronunciation is varies, but Palmyra is the way I heard it and wrote it down exactly when some of the American officials said it. They're in a gas pumping station. It is a cache, a bonanza of all kinds of weapons and some stupid picture of Assad, which looks like it was just pasted up there a few minutes earlier.
The men of so-called Islamic State have found abandoned weapons and a poster of Syria's president, whose army was routed and overrun. These are the group's pictures of the city next to the ruins. The UN says some 70,000 Syrians have fled. But in the city centre, IS fighters have filmed themselves trying to whip up a clearly frightened crowd. Despite this display of affection, IS has beaten, executed and decapitated prisoners here. But these pictures are too graphic to show.
Wait. It doesn't end right there, but I cut it there. It's too graphic that they can't show anything?
No, only Palestinian kids.
We don't know that there's a dead body. We've seen them showing tons of dead bodies before.
They don't have it.
Sometimes they block it out. They fuzz it out sometimes.
The B-roll failed. The guy had it on the sticks, and he did the B-roll, and then something went wrong with the recording. So a couple things about this report. One, they're no longer listening to my advice. If you want Americans to get riled up about something, have them killing gays. The throwing gays off the buildings, that works. So what they've resorted to, if you talk to people on the street, and I had a chance to talk to a lot of people in New York, time after, they're destroying all these antiquities. The people, we're so, I guess, traumatized that we don't care about normal people being killed anymore. Antiquities. And then they roll B-roll of them smashing those old statues. The ones with the iron rods.
Those are plaster.
Yeah, with the plaster of Paris with the iron rods in them. But that's it. Antiquities. They're destroying history. Come on, people. I am pretty sure that the reason IS fighters have masks on is because they're Iraqis. They're Iraqi army. It's just they're This is so fake, so phony, and it's here. It's right here. And Robert Ford involved with that 2012 document. All the people are all in there, and I guess that they'll have Assad surrounded. But I don't think it's going to make any difference. But they can certainly now just rubbleize everything. I like your theory, John. Just blow it all up, blow it all to kingdom come. Get rid of it.
Well, it hasn't been doing anyone any good.
Well, it should eventually. But you got McCain in there. Well, it should do some good. The whole idea is get back in Iraq.
The rubbleizing will do some good, at least by based on if you're going to go on that one thesis, which is this is the time to do a reset and get these troublemakers in the Middle East. Just the whole culture should just be rubbleized and go back to the Stone Age.
That's
is
right.
what they promised to do, and we've kind of lost track of that during the initial 9/11 event. Well, we're going to bomb them back in the Stone Age. Well, that's what we're doing, and with stones, literally stones.
Well,
but now we're going to let them bomb themselves back into the Stone Age, and we won't have to worry about being responsible.
And we can't, then we don't have to take credit for it. Well, McCain will take credit for anything. He doesn't give a crap.
He's got some other agenda. McCain's agenda is not in general play.
We did just sell $2 billion worth of junk to Saudi Arabia, so it is working.
That's part of the scheme. So Saudi Arabia, I thought they were out of Yemen, but then there's this report they're still bombing down there. We're trying to turn them into the bad guys, which will be, I think, an interesting trick. But Saudi's still bombing. Play that.
In Yemen, 5 Ethiopian refugees were killed when Saudi shells struck an international aid office in the town of Maydi. 10 other refugees were wounded. Airstrikes and deadly clashes raged across Yemen Thursday, a day after the UN announced it'll convene a meeting of Yemen's rival factions next week. There were reports of further civilian casualties during intense Arab bombing, including 8 members of a single family killed in the province of Damar.
We're just throwing the spotlight on them.
Where the spotlight is not being shown, BBC had a pretty good report about Qatar. And just like Saudi Arabia, who behead tens of people, maybe 70 people a month. And they do it with a cool blade.
A scimitar. Don't they use a scimitar?
Is that what that's called? A scimitar?
Yeah, that big crazy looking thing.
Yeah, the big blade.
Yeah, that's the classic.
Yeah, and they're just off with their head they go. I like the way they do that. That would be great for the TV show. Not this wimpy little pocket knife deal in those phony baloney videos. But Qatar, of course, is also very, very unfriendly in the human rights division. A couple of BBC, there was a junket. Because Qatar has, by some amazing feat, they received the 2016 World Cup. Football will be played in Qatar.
And the Corrupt Cup.
The Corrupt Cup will be held in Qatar. And, of course, there's people, hey, wait a minute, you got a lot of human rights abuses there. I said, why don't you journalists come on over and we'll show you that everything is all cool here. So they had a nice little junket. Everybody's on the same bus. BBC had a pretty good report on this.
Since the tiny Gulf state of Qatar stunned the world by winning the chance to host football's most dazzling tournament, it's attracted worldwide attention. But that has come at a price. A focus on the housing and working conditions of low-skilled migrant workers. There are no complaints at this brand new accommodation complex we were shown by the government. A luxury swimming pool, a well-equipped gym. Workers on World Cup projects are the lucky ones.
Everything is good here. My lifestyle has changed. It's a better, more hygienic place to live.
On the other side of town and away from our PR minders, we joined a busload of labourers to see where the majority of migrants live now. Many have been here for years and endure the long hours and lack of holiday in order to send money back home. We'd heard conditions were a far cry from what we'd seen earlier. What we didn't know is that we were being followed by the State Security Service. Our arrest was dramatic. 8 cars drove us off the road as we left the centre of Doha. The cameraman, driver, translator and I were treated like spies and interrogated separately by security officers. Our camera and footage were seized. In handcuffs, we were hauled in front of a prosecutor. He accused us of disrespecting Qatar and threatened us with a spell behind bars to teach us a lesson. Then, after 2 nights in a filthy prison, just as suddenly as we'd been arrested, they let us go. FIFA say they are investigating what happened to us. They say any restriction to press freedom will be looked into with the seriousness it deserves.
Yeah, I bet it will. It deserves some seriousness.
What a farce.
Yeah. I wanted to say something about your ITN. This is a very favorite, as a favorite CIA trick where you send an agent. In this case, ITN is whoever they work for, but you send an agent to a country as a reporter. The reporter will write for, I'll just make something up, the Kenya Times, the Kenya Tribune. And then the reporter will write propaganda, but then the New York Times can say, according to the Kenya Tribune, ... So when you pull an ITN, which has the benefit of it being Brits, because that always sounds good. Always sounds official, and just certainly to Americans. That's the tricks that they use. Tricks of the tradecraft, we call this. Tradecraft.
Yeah, well, ITN's cropped up one too many times on PBS.
Yeah.
And they're always in this area. And the beginning of that clip, by the way, has the guys with the ISIS guys. He's right behind an ISIS guy with a big red beard, saying we're running these guys out of town. And so we're here with the rebels, kind of thing. How do you get there? How do you get to that point where you're fighting with them? It makes no sense.
No. Well,
it's all staged.
Yes, correct.
Well, I have go on.
I was just going to say just a quick little. I don't have a clip, but I did want to mention the. United Kingdoms of Gitmo Nation East now investigating more than 1,400 prominent men, including politicians, celebrities, and those linked to institutions for historic child sex abuse. The National Police Chiefs Council said they have seen an unprecedented increase in the number of reports of abuse in the wake of the 2012 Jimmy Savile scandal, the necrophiliac. Laying bare the sheer scale of the task facing them, police estimate they'll receive around 116,000 reports of abuse by the end of this year, a 71% increase from 2012. The claims cut to the very heart of society, with schools, religious institutions, children's homes, and sports clubs all implicated. According to the figures, 1,433 suspects, all believed to be men, have been identified, including 261 people of public prominence. Of these prominent figures, 76 are politicians, 135 come from the world of TV, film, or radio, 43 are from the music industry, and 7 are from the sports industry. Officers have identified 357 different institutions linked to the alleged abuse, including 154 schools, 75 children's homes, 40 religious institutions, and 9 prisons. People, this is nuts. This is a health crisis. That's what I call it, by the way.
I like the health crisis.
It is a health crisis. This is people who are abused. A large percentage go on to abuse. This is a health crisis. You can want to cut their nuts off and string them up, but these people are ill and they need help. And I don't think this is the right approach at all. But it clearly is just rampant. And
I think it's always been that way there, especially.
Why do you think it is that the UK is? I guess it just starts, it snowballs, and it's a health crisis. It is a health crisis. No one ever talks about that. But, it seems...
I have no idea. So I think it has a lot to do with the class structure.
Okay, good point. Slaves.
Yeah.
Nice fabric.
Nice fabric.
Oh, God.
It's like, okay, Google.
Nice fabric. What do you mean?
You might be triggering a bunch of our listeners. Whatever you say, what is it you want me to do?
Yes, nice fabric.
Like these AVN.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what to do. You're not playing that.
No, I didn't. It just slipped.
AVN world. Now, I don't know if this is a clip I find. I always find this at these adult video things, these dingbats. And I think dingbat slut is the best way to describe them. And they go on and they have their worldview is so screwy It's just off.
I'm glad you're bringing this whole show back around to porn. That's so.
There we go.
I am here with Mick Blue and Annika Albright. They're the most beautiful couple. Oh, I love both of you. Okay, so I know you're like nominated for so many things, but tell us like the best one.
I'm nominated for Female Performer of the Year, and we also have a nomination for Best Girl Group Scene. And
I'm Andrew Butthole.
Yes.
And someone said it was like Cirque du Soleil sex for girls.
Hell yeah.
There was like parts in weird places. I'm not sure whose boob it was. So you had a lot of firsts this year too as well, right? What were your firsts for this year?
I did my first DP, but I gotta say he was actually in my first DP. I wanted him to be a part of it because it's a very special moment for us.
Annika, she was just like, I want more. I want this day never to end. You know, we were driving home after the scene, and then she's like, all the people in the world should do DPs because that would bring world peace.
It
you know?
would. Like seriously,
world peace.
DP'd, they just be so much more relaxed and happy. And like, oh my god, that was amazing. I got all my holes filled. I'm just the happiest person in the world.
John.
Hi, I love you. I love you. I love you.
John, this has got to be the lowest of all low points you have ever brought to the table. Wow.
No.
DP for peace.
Unbelievable. I watched as my jaws dropped. It's like
what channel was this on?
This was on Showtime, I believe.
Oh, okay. So
I'm watching this going, what is wrong with these people? And they find, by the way, it went on, then they kind of switched the top and they started talking about world peace again.
You know, screw that. Just screw all of that.
Clip of the day.
So I have to go to the bottom. And now the mic clip of the day is the next clip.
Can I just say that I definitely want my first DP to be with you?
Yeah, well, that ain't going to happen. So we have what I thought would, now this was during the basketball game, the Warriors game. And they got a new Kentucky Fried Chicken 15-second commercial that they developed. They've got a new guy who plays Colonel Sanders with the phoniest Southern accent imaginable. You'd think they'd get some guy who could actually talk with an appropriate.
I do declare my chicken is exactly what you want to eat.
Worse than anything you can imagine. But I want you to listen to this clip because he says, I'm telling you, he says that you should dip the chicken and then wait and then jump in or then dip into poo. I'm telling you, it's
Colonel Sanders here. Ask any lifeguard, and she's going to tell you the best part of summertime is my $5 fill-up with finger-licking good sauce. Dip your chicken in it, wait an hour, dip yourself in poo. It's finger-licking good.
Oh, man. He does say it.
He says, dip yourself in poo.
Why would he say that?
Then he does a George Bush.
What is that about?
Yeah.
It's not a clip of the day.
Well, to me, that other clip was kind of gross.
Oh, man. All right, let's close this thing out.
The only good phone's a landline, and the phone should be made out of Bakelite.
All right, a little bit of tech news for everybody here on the best podcast in the universe. It's Sunday. We love to do tech news on Sunday. Headline, markets are jumpy over coming leap second. I love this report. June 30th, is when a leap second is added. And according to the report, this is from NASDAQ.com. Wall Street's latest worry, Y2K's distant cousin, the leap second. Traders and exchange officials are prepping for the latest incidents when a seemingly innocuous time change could potentially cause havoc if computer systems aren't made ready. So it does sound like a distant scam like the Y2K.
Oh, yeah.
So June 30th, right before 8 p.m. Eastern time, which, as far as I know, markets are closed. At least U.S. markets are closed, which would be midnight UTC. After hours markets are usually still open for trading in the U.S. This is when the leap second will be added, and this is everyone's all worried about this.
What are they worried about?
Well, because flash trading would be off, and it could cause wreak havoc.
I believe there's that much flash trading that takes place after hours.
I'm only reading from NASDAQ, the official blog of the NASDAQ market, so you'd think that they would say something. Let's see. We talked about the HTTPS stuff. We already did that, yeah. Oh, Google this is concerning. Google is apparently getting ready to roll out click-to-buy mobile search ads. So I guess that's kind of like an Amazon ad. And I've complained about this before. Increasingly, not just with your mobile web browser, but apps, there's just banners and things everywhere. This screen is already too small, and now Google's going to ruin everything. Can you imagine what's going to happen if everyone could just you click on it and you buy something, just more of these horrific ads on your mobile screen?
I think this is a mistake.
It's a big mistake. But it's going to ruin things, if not already pretty much ruined. And Google's going to go, and this is the report, at least they're going to get into this. Robots, artificial intelligence, and this kind of ties in a bit to Agenda 21, but the unintended consequences of technology are becoming increasingly alarming. This Airbnb that I stayed in, sometimes they have a cleaning service. If you stay a week, you pay X, or it's a part of the price. This didn't have it, but it had one of those iRobot vacuum cleaners.
A Roomba.
I think that the brand was iRobot, I think.
That's Roomba.
Is that Roomba?
iRobot's the company.
Oh, okay. Roomba.
It's the product's a Roomba. And by the way, I have a beef with those. I think they're douchebags.
Well, I want to hear that in a moment. First of all, the thing doesn't work. It's just stupid. Then it went into the bathroom because I'm like 7:30 in the morning. I hear, what the hell is this? What is going on? I see this. It was hidden under the couch, so I didn't know it was in the house. And it starts to clean. Yeah, it starts to clean, and it goes into the bathroom.
It didn't have a gun.
It goes to the bathroom, and I couldn't hear what the message was, but there was a synthesized female voice going, and the thing had gobbled up the bath mat. And it was stuck. And so it was a big pain in the ass. But of course, what it really does is it puts some people out of work who I gladly would have paid, as is normal with a lot of Airbnb deals, for someone to just come in and do a little cleaning. All of this. So you take the iPads at the airport, you take the Roomba. All of this is putting people out of work. What are we going to do with these people?
That's the idea.
Yeah, I know, but it's all these people who are so tech horny. They got to figure. Please pay attention to what is happening.
I like this tech horny comment.
Tech horny, yeah, tech horny. I'm horny for tech. I'm so horny for tech. All right, what's your beef with the Roomba people?
So I'm at the CES show, and they're having an event. This one of these events that are private.
How long ago was this? When was this?
This is about 2-3 years ago. 3 years ago, let's say.
Good.
And they were having this private event that has all these companies in there, and you can't get in. It's only for the press. You go in there so you can look. You can give these guys some publicity, hopefully, if they get something interesting.
Yeah.
They have these things constantly.
Always so silly why they invite you, but yeah, okay.
I'm a press guy. I do write.
Yeah.
I write about this stuff. I still have a column in PC Magazine. Mm-hmm. And I will pick something out of the blue. It's a crapshoot to get me to write about it, but it happens. So I go in there and I sneak in. I follow some guy in like, do. And I sneak in before they let the press in. So I got the place to myself because everybody's all set up and ready to go. So I'm going from booth to booth to booth and getting some, picking stuff up and talking to people and getting their cars and doing all this stuff before the crowd comes in. And I get around, I go to the Roomba booth or the iRobot group. And I said, I do the same thing there. And then I go to the next booth. The next thing you know, the guards are coming in and they grab me and throw me out.
What?
Yeah. And so I said, what was that all about? He said, you're not supposed to be in here until blah, 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 till 7 o'clock. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, who is it that turned me in? And they told me it was the iRobot people.
Oh.
I came in there. I would have probably written them up. I was fond of whoever I was talking to, but they turned me in. Screw them.
Well, their product stinks too.
Well, there you go. I'm glad that happened then.
Yeah, it was jarring to say the least. All right, now to this. So this
just a rug sweeper.
It's just an annoying gadget that just creates more work because you got to unhook it from the bath mat and then it has to go find its home. It's dumb. Comic Strip Blogger did something highly illegal for us, which I appreciate. He recorded some audio of the movie Tomorrowland, which is a George Clooney vehicle.
It's out already?
Yeah, it was in New York, and I guess he's in Europe, so probably a worldwide release. And yeah, it looks kind of cute, and I was thinking, I went to Central Park, thank God, to see my buddy, but if it had been raining, I would have gone to see it because I was interested in kind of the artificial intelligence stuff. Turns out this entire movie is one big global warming thing. It's all about we're all going to die from global warming. And here's a little clip if you can hear it.
Mutually assured destruction. Today, any nuclear country or terrorist is capable of inflicting damage on a massive scale with weapons of
environmental entropy. The polarized caps aren't waiting for us to decide if climate change is real. Rising coastal waters, intensifying weather patterns, they're all punching our one-way ticket to dystopia.
By definition, not perfect. Huxley's Brave New World, Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, Orwell's 1984. Once considered fiction, these futuristic novels are actually happening right now, and they seem to be getting worse. Yes, Miss Newton.
Can we fix it?
So,
they kind of imply that those three books they mentioned are about global warming.
Well, I read it a little differently. I read it, or the way I interpret it is that all these, it's on par with these conspiracies and these books which have come true. So we're living in 1984, we're living in Orwell, and climate change is also real. All of this kind of flows together. Associative, yes. So
it's disgusting. Yeah. I thought it was going to be an entertaining film, not a lecture. This reminds us of the guy who comes out from the Norman Lear Foundation. The Lear Foundation. Talks about how they've corrupted Hollywood with this message.
And it's Martin Kaplan. And here he is. We love playing this. There's a whole bunch of them, and I'll link some of them in the show notes.
So in the course of our work, this is in the 2 years, 11 to 13, 335 storylines that we worked on have been aired. We've worked with 35 networks in the past 4 years, 91 different television shows.
Good work. Fantastic. That's how it goes.
Yep, and we're just fighting it.
Yeah, we are.
And they're just making us jump in the poo.
Oh, man. I play that again at the end of the show here. Colonel Sanders, jump in the poo. Give me a break. All right. Well, hopefully on Thursday, I will not have to be swimming to the show, depending on what happens. It's bad. It's really bad. Bad, I tell you. Coming to you here from FEMA Region 6. We are in the capital of the Drone Star State, Crackpot Condo, downtown Austin, on FEMA Region 6. In the morning, everybody, my name's Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
Plenty of deconstruction to do for you. We're happy to do it if you continue to support us at Dvorak.org/NA. We'll be back with another show on Thursday, right here on No Agenda.
There are 4 things I want the public to know. First, I thought it would be easier during my 4 years as Secretary of State. Obviously, it hasn't worked out that way. Second, I opted for convenience, and I think most people understand that. Third, no one wants their yoga routines made public. And fourth, what difference at this point does it make?
I'm shocked to find trannies on acid in here.
Get out of here, you low-life scum.
Colonel Sanders here. Ask any lifeguard and she's going to tell you the best part of summertime is my $5 fill-up with finger-licking good sauce. Dip your chicken in it, wait an hour, dip yourself in the pool. It's finger-licking good.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA